Here we go. Right now, let's take the field like
Call or text on the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Olsen and Matt Jones.
Good morning, and welcome into halftime. Time to wrap up this week, man. Phil Elson, Matt Jones, the C Unit, Kristen Johnston producing. We'll take you up until 2 o'clock here on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com. It feels like a Friday today. I need a little help with the energy. Maybe it's because I haven't watched enough basketball this week. So get our eyes on Arkansas again tomorrow. Got a women's game on Friday. Had a tough loss last night for the women's team in Knoxville. You feeling all right this week, Matt? I'm feeling like it's the end of Friday today.
Oh yeah, it's here. You know, Super Bowl Sunday's right here. It's been a good week. The NFL awards came out, NFL Hall of Fame. They got a lot of stuff going on in the sports world right now. NBA trade deadline. Got a former Arkansas Razorback going to the Dallas Mavs. Patrick Beverly going up to the Bucks. So yeah, a lot going on in the sports world.
That's right. That's exactly right. No surprise at all with Lamar winning the MVP. You gotta take into account the idea of he was the best player over the course of the entire regular season, but a week, like days before the Super Bowl, and you get your MVP trophy knowing that you were that close to actually playing in the game. It's got to feel a little bit rough when you accept that trophy. I mean, you take it with pride. You certainly deserve it, but would you trade the MVP award for a chance to play in the Super Bowl? Not a chance, actually playing in the Super Bowl, because Lamar had a chance.
You know, I would assume he would say yes. I mean, he's already won the MVP. He's won it twice now. Football is the ultimate team game, which it makes it so awesome. And there's only one winner. When you look at it, there's different levels that you have emotionally. You know, if you don't make the playoffs, you're like, well, we start building on it for next year. When you're the number one seed with home field advantage, yeah, it stings. You know it has to sting, and you kind of take it, with a grain of salt. I didn't see his acceptance speech or anything, but I'm assuming that, anybody winning these awards, you got to have talent, but you got to give it. You get hats off to your teammates. That's the only way you can have success in this league.
You see, there was apparently a fire alarm at the 49ers hotel. I think that was the day before. They were talking about it yesterday, so it must have been yesterday morning. That happened to me with a couple of times with the Travelers, where I don't think it was you worried about somebody pulling the alarm, but you get woken up 2:30, the thing is screaming. There's nothing you can do about it. Did you read where George Kittle just went into the bathroom and covered his ears, closed the door, and just waited until that thing was over? I'm always of the mind, if I get woken up by an alarm at 2:30 in the morning, I probably should get out of the room, no matter what, and go outside just in case. You go into the bathroom, close the door, cover your ears.
Anytime I've been a part of it, the same thing. I don't think it's happened maybe twice, and it was a deal like that, but everybody might come out of the halls or out of your room, and you kind of look around, and then you go back into your room, and you wait for it to – you don't – it's like nobody thinks anything of it, yeah.
Niners think that there's some little under-the-table stuff and little nefarious things going on with this. Don't the fire alarms have a little ink if you pull it? I mean, this was a kid's tale from school, because I've never pulled the fire alarm before, nor have I asked anybody if they ever had the blue ink from the fire alarm. But that's what we were told. Don't pull the alarm in school, because we'll know exactly who did it.
Well, I think it's an inside job. Somebody's got at the computer in the main room, and nobody's doing it analog anymore.
Good point.
Yeah, somebody's slipping somebody something, and they're saying, "Hey, throw this," and they're doing it electronically. So if it's like that, but yeah, they'll be usually whatever they do, they'll stay at a different hotel for the night before the game, so nobody will know.
And don't let anybody know which hotel it is.
Yeah.
Just go find yourself the biggest Airbnb in Las Vegas. Got to be an Airbnb in Vegas that fits a whole football, at least one offense.
Vegas is the town. We say New Orleans, and I love New Orleans. Food town, hosted the most Super Bowls, but Vegas is going to host the most. In the next 40 years, Vegas is going to host 10 Super Bowls. That's the town to host a Super Bowl. I mean, they're already made for it. You went on yesterday and looked at hotel rooms. There's plenty of vacancy there. It's like, what's going on?
And I remember, Jacksonville hosted a Super Bowl.
I think I was a junior in college, so it was
They didn't have enough hotel rooms. They had to bring cruise ships over to serve as floating hotels. There's a reason they're going to build a new stadium, but unless they've built I don't know how many more hotels, never going to get the Super Bowl there again. They're still having it in Detroit. They'll probably put it in Minnesota again. I think they're going to have another one scheduled at Lucas Oil. So you get a roof, you go to Northern City, plenty of hotels. They'll put it there.
Yeah, if Jacksonville builds a new stadium, I'm pretty sure they'll get another Super Bowl. And there's so many golf courses. There's plenty of things to do in Jacksonville, but you're right, trying to house everybody is tough.
The thing I'd wonder, so they're going to have another one in Detroit at some point. So what's the activity? Doing everything you can to stay warm.
Well,
that's the only activity.
You got the Canadian sports. You get to go curling. You get to go throw darts.
Darts are Canadian only?
Maybe go to a Dave and Buster's of some kind. I mean, whack-a-mole. You got there's all sorts of
go to a hockey game. Take the entire football team to go see the Red Wings, and then have some of that great Detroit style pizza, which nobody outside of Detroit talks about too much.
Boudin or Putin. It's French fries with gravy and cheese curds?
Poutine.
Poutine.
It's way too, that's one of those ideas that sounds good unless it's made perfectly, because, I mean, if you don't eat that quickly, it's just turning into a gloppy mess of brown stuff.
You need it in small doses. That's exactly right.
It's great stuff when it's separated, but I guess if you're going to be the right kind of French Canadian, you got to glop it all on one thing. You're right. I mean, they probably have I shouldn't say good, because it'd be the same thing as like calling any of the Cincinnati chili good. It's just gloppy. Too gloppiness for me.
I wonder when London gets their Super Bowl.
I don't think that's going to happen.
Mexico City doesn't get a Super Bowl.
I'd be surprised.
Chiefs 49ers in Mexico City. Now, wouldn't that be that would have been the place?
I know Ty and the guys got into that a little bit, and Tommy and Chuck thought Ty was nuts about that. Maybe so far into the future that I can't picture it, but this is a sport that you have got to have a team in your hometown if you're going to have the Super Bowl. Isn't that what it's about here? You don't have a home field advantage unless you're the Bucks, and you play in Tampa.
And the Rams, didn't they do it back-to-back years?
Yeah, I mean, every Super Bowl has been played in a city that has an NFL team. Now, some point you get a team in Europe. Once that happens, and I would think London would be the city, then anything can happen.
Get one in Toronto. Yeah. There you go.
It would feel weird to have the biggest event in American sports not in the United States. But I think you put a team in London, you put a team somewhere in Europe, you might host it there. 7 days until Arkansas baseball starts. Woods already texted in the number 7. Wonder how many times people text in Mickey Mantle today.
George Costanza, 7.
Did he wear 7?
No, but he wanted to name your child 7.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, then I'll have to go down on the list then, too.
John Elway, Johnny Football, that was the number 1. I think a 7. You think?
Yeah, we can't go with Manziel as Johnny Football. It would be Elway.
Absolutely. That's I think somebody that would be better in today's game. You imagine John Elway playing in today's game. OMG.
He would be the perfect quarterback for today's game.
Strong arm, athletic, can do. They can't touch the quarterbacks anymore. John Elway, is he underrated? Because nobody talks about him being a top 5 quarterback all time.
Oh man,
you don't hear him.
I have trouble not putting him in the top 10. So I guess or top 5. I'd have to be convinced.
I got him in the top 5. Absolutely, I think John Elway is a top 5 quarterback. But that's when you talk number 7s. That's the first one I go to.
He's my favorite non-Steeler football player, certainly of my childhood in the '80s. I loved Elway. I rooted for him in every Super Bowl he played, and for all the times that the Steelers lost and it broke my heart, when Denver beat Pittsburgh to go to the Super Bowl, and I think that was the first year that Elway won the Super Bowl that year. I didn't feel that bad about it. I was so happy for him.
They beat Green Bay, and then they beat
the Falcons.
They beat Atlanta next. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I guess if you're thinking of number 7, there's a lot of them that come down the pike. Mickey Mantle is top of the list, and that one hits for me because my father grew up in New York City. He was a Yankees fan from birth. Mickey Mantle to him, and just about every young man of his age or boy of his age, Mickey Mantle was God. I think I was pretty close to being named Mickey. There are a lot of older dudes of my dad's age that name their sons Mickey. I know a few of them. How would you like to do a show today with Mickey Elson, Matt?
Mickey Elson, I like it. So the last running back, the last team to win the Super Bowl that had the running back that led the NFL in rushing yards,
Terrell Davis,
was the Denver Broncos. You know who led the NFL in rushing yards this year?
Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah,
that's right.
You could have
I think there's only been 3 NFL rushing champions who have won a Super Bowl. Emmitt Smith would be the third. Or would Emmitt Smith? Emmitt Smith actually did it a couple of times.
Walter Payton?
No, not in '85.
Oh well, he won a rushing title, but not in that year.
Not
okay,
that year.
I got you.
That's one reason why. So if you're going to try to slow San Francisco down with all those weapons, it's got to be McCaffrey first and foremost. You worry about.
God, he scares me. It's like Steph Curry. When Steph Curry gets off the bus, he can make a shot. When McCaffrey gets off the bus, you have to know where he is at all times.
We know where Aaron Torres is in just a moment. He'll be on halftime. It's a good answer.
Call or text the McClarty Daniel hotline to join the conversation on ESPN Arkansas. 877-377-6963. McClarty Daniel has a vehicle to fit both your style and budget. With 6 locations in Springdale and Bentonville, you're never too far from a good deal. Visit McClartyDaniel.com to find your next ride. Find your next ride with McClarty Daniel at a price you'll love. Join the conversation on ESPN Arkansas at 877-377-6963.
0.9% financing on a new 23 or 24 GMC Sierra at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Save up to $6,500 off with factory rebates on a new GMC Sierra truck, or take $3,750 off with 0.9% financing or 2.9% financing for up to 72 months on Sierra 1500s. 6.2-liter engine excluded. Conquer with confidence in a new GMC Sierra from Harry Robinson Buick GMC. We are professional grade. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
This is Bruce Stanton, Vice President and General Manager of Pradco Fishing in Fort Smith. Our #1 volume lure out of our 20 fishing brands is the Bobby Garland Baby Shad. We make them by the millions in our facility in Fort Smith, and the Baby Shad is without a doubt the #1 soft plastic crappie lure in the U.S. Fish it on a light jig head or underneath a float, and you'll find it's as productive as live bait. Available at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle stores all over the place. The Bobby Garland Baby Shad.
Do you need gutters but think they're too expensive, or that you need to get the soffit or fascia ready? No worries. Call the Gutter Guy. He does it all. No need to call multiple companies to get the right gutters for your home. Call the Gutter Guy. Quality, low maintenance, leaf-free gutters with a 5-year warranty. The Gutter Guy also does vinyl siding and windows. The Gutter Guy. Over 30 years experience. Call 226-1259. Call the Gutter Guy.
Hey, it's Ty Richardson for Papa's Pub and Pizzeria. I want to talk about their pizza today. The Goob Special with extra pepperoni and rib rub on top. The Parm Special with double mushroom and jalapenos. Don't forget about the bacon cheeseburger and everyone's favorite, the old trash can. Swing on by Papa's Pub and Pizzeria at 508 Garrison Avenue in downtown Fort Smith, or give them a call at 479-783-9941. Papa's Pub and Pizzeria, the best darn pizza in Fort Smith, perhaps the world.
Do you need an oil change but don't have time to drop off your car? S&J Express Lube will let you sit in your car while they do the work, and it only takes about 15 minutes with no appointment needed. Prices start at $35.99 for a 20-point inspection service. S&J Express Lube is open Monday through Friday 9 till 6 and Saturdays 8 till noon. You'll find them at 14818 Highway 71 South in Jenny Lind. Check them out on Facebook too. S&J Express Lube, your authorized Castrol dealer in Sebastian County. They are waiting on you now.
Roses are red, violets are blue. If I had your bank account, I'd worry about alimony too. I'm Jackie Mock with Mock Legal Solutions. Call today for a free consultation and ask about our special pricing for new divorce filings in February. 479-769-1505. Mock Legal Solutions, real advice, reasonable price.
Are you great at picking NFL games?
Yes, sir!
Then enter ESPN Arkansas's Pro Football Pick'em Challenge on hitthatline.com.
Touchdown, Kansas City!
ESPN Arkansas's Pro Football Pick'em Challenge is presented by Heartland Hyundai.
And on behalf of the 5-time world champion Dallas Cowboys!
Only on hitthatline.com. Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
I heard I lost my self-control, but everything I did just went and turned to gold. I love the pictures on the wall, reminding me of what I lost to get it all. Out of my mind, but I made it.
Welcome back into Halftime Live from the Crabtree RV Studios. Crabtree RV Center in Alma, where we make your dreams come true.
Back on halftime, we'll take a look at the McClarty Daniel hotline and talk with our friend Aaron Torres from the Aaron Torres Sports Podcast and Aaron Torres Sports Media afternoon. Well, it's morning. It's morning here where we are. It's morning where you are. I'm a little messed up this week, AT, obviously. I don't know what day it is. I don't know if it's morning or afternoon, but how are you at the end of the week?
I mean, I'm great. Where are you? I mean, are you traveling with basketball or what?
No, it's a lot. We were traveling last night. We're in Gainesville. I'm in our ESPN Arkansas studios now on my way back home for the weekend. So,
Okay, good.
yeah, Super Bowl's coming up on Sunday. I should be watching it with the women's basketball team in Knoxville. Yeah, you've heard about this NFL championship game coming up here. Should be a great game. Which way you leaning?
Well, I mean, listen, I'm going to be the most cliche guy ever. I mean, as somebody who was adamant that the Ravens were going to win the AFC Championship game, I'm just done betting against Mahomes. The one thing I will say, guys, and I'll make it a college football topic, I was thinking about this yesterday. I talked about it on my show today. We spent all November and December talking about how in college football, this was Nick Saban's greatest coaching job ever this past season, obviously the one before he retired. And the argument is, you know, he kind of figures out about 2-3 weeks in, hey, you know, Jalen Milroe isn't going to be the guy that we were hoping he would be a quarterback. Not that he's bad, but he's just different. And so why I bring it up is because I think the Kansas City Chiefs are basically the NFL version of Alabama, or Alabama's the college version of the Kansas City Chiefs, where, you know, everybody wants to spend so much time talking about, you know, Mahomes and whatever. And it's like, you actually watch the games, and I know all of you did because 50 million people have over the last couple of weekends. It's kind of the defense that's carrying them. And to, like, Mahomes' credit, he's kind of, you know, people want to call Brock Purdy a system quarterback, but Mahomes is kind of a system quarterback. Run the ball, keep the clock moving, let the defense take over. They haven't had to score a lot. So I like KC, but it's not because of Mahomes. It's because I think it took a while. They finally figured out who they are. And because of it, I think that is what has led to their success and their continued success on Sunday.
Aaron, I had Baltimore and Detroit playing in it, so yeah, don't ask me about the Super Bowl. But Spags, he made the NFL MVP, Lamar,
exactly,
look pedestrian. So what do you think? What do you do against Christian McCaffrey? Because I think that's what San Francisco, what their whole thing goes around. How do you stop Christian McCaffrey?
Yeah, I mean, Matt, you know much more about the schematics than I do. But I will say, I think, you know, listen, I mean, I picked Detroit as well, and it was probably for a lot of the same reasons. And you know, one of the cool things about the shift that I do, you know, at least the first game, the Green Bay Packers, I was on air right after that Packers game when the 49ers barely held on. I think that's another thing that stands out is a couple really slow starts. And so how do you slow down McCaffrey? I don't know, but you force Brock Purdy to beat you, and especially early in games, he has struggled. And I think that's another reason why I do kind of like Kansas City in this game is San Francisco, 2 fourth-quarter comebacks, 2 second-half comebacks, you know, have been much better, have been basically a second-half team. Kansas City's basically locking everybody down in the second half. And so if you fall behind, they're running the ball, they're playing good defense, and now you're putting the ball in a quarterback's hands who has not, listen, we all have the narratives on Brock Purdy, but, is he a guy that can lead 3-4 scoring drives against what will be the best defense that he has seen so far in these playoffs? And so that's another concern of mine. How do you stop Christian McCaffrey? I don't know, but I think part of it is probably, hey, make Brock Purdy beat us. I guess you could say to a degree he has in the fourth quarter of the last two games, but he hasn't put together anything close to a full 4 quarters just yet.
I'm sure there's got to be a prop bet on this somewhere on Bet Saracen here in Arkansas. I'm sure there is. The idea of will the game MVP go to an offensive or defensive player? And I tell you what, when you think about it, and you're right about Kansas City, and we've hit on this a lot, the defense is like a no-name defense. Nobody talks about them, But I wouldn't be surprised at all if the winning team, the best player, or at least the most valuable player, is on defense. You could legitimately see a Super Bowl with
23-21 type of game.
I was going to say maybe under the right circumstances, both teams under 20.
Yeah.
Well, and the other thing too, if that is the angle that you want to take on the Bet Saracen app, again, you just said it, Phil. It's a no-name defense. I'm not smart enough to tell you who it is, but Purdy's been a little turnover prone as well. So maybe one of those defensive backs has an interception, maybe two, a couple picks, brings one back to the house, whatever. But no, I think that's kind of the interesting narrative. And it's funny, obviously the three of us, we don't talk like a ton of it. Like we're not coming on a Monday and breaking down NFL games, but it is interesting, these shows that do it full time. I get that you want to hit on kind of the big, bold, sexy topics, but it's like, I keep seeing all this stuff about Mahomes, and it's like, is anyone actually watching it? Like, is anyone watching the games? It's the defense. It has been the defense all playoffs. And I'll say this, I am fascinated by this game because I know you opened the show by saying, or opened the segment by asking me, like, who do you like? I like Kansas City, but I wouldn't say I love them. I wouldn't say if I was sitting in a sports book that I'd rush and throw all my money on one side. I mean, I could see it going the other way. Some years, some games, I just don't see that. So I think it's going to make for a compelling game because it really is two really good teams. Kansas City certainly playing the best football of their season. San Francisco, probably the most talented team in the league. It's going to be a fun game, though, Sunday. It's going to be a fun game.
We had some great college basketball over the weekend. It's not like we took our eyes off of it this week because Arkansas didn't play, but that felt like a respite from what it has been like to watch at times. Devo's back, though. Musk released it on Monday at his radio show. He even worked out with him. They had good meetings. He's been practicing. We don't know the situation with Trevin Brazile just yet, if he'll be back from the knee injury. I think Musk has a media availability. It might have already happened this morning. But they got Georgia tomorrow, and I don't know. If he ain't going to turn it around this weekend against Georgia, which is not a great team, but a team that controlled Arkansas throughout the entire game when they did meet in Athens, then it's just not going to happen.
Yeah. And all I would really say, too, is Georgia, like, to your point, yes, this would be a nice week to kind of get things back on track. You had the middle of the week off. Everybody catches their breath, whatever. Georgia also is just, I'm just going to say it. I don't care if I make enemies. I don't think if Georgia even has basketball fans, I think they would probably tend to agree with me. Mike White just has an 8-year track record, 9-year track record now in the SEC. He's just not a good basketball coach. I mean, every single one of their games ends up the same. They get off to a hot start. They have the talent. That's the other thing. In this portal world, you look at some of the players that they brought in this offseason, they probably have top 30, top 40 talent in college basketball, top 25 talent maybe even. But, the other day they had a 14-point lead at halftime against Alabama, blew it. Last Saturday they had a big lead and blew it. And so this is an opportunity. Now, again, Arkansas is not playing well, but they also had some time off in the middle of the week. And so we'll see what happens. I think the big question for me is how do you reintegrate Devo Davis? I mean, I thought it was interesting. They started to play well without him, but then the last time we saw him at LSU, you certainly wouldn't say that he was, it wasn't good at LSU. You guys don't need me to tell you that. So I just bring it up to very simply say is that I think on the surface it felt like they maybe had turned a corner once he had left the team. Now I think it's obviously pretty hard to say that. Now I'm just curious how he looks with that group tomorrow.
Hey, Aaron. Yeah, the SEC's loaded. I didn't have South Carolina number one in the SEC right now. I still think Tennessee. Right? Yeah, weren't they picked last? I still like Tennessee just as much as anybody in this conference. But I want to ask you about Kentucky and Coach Cal. I kind of have a thinking that I don't know if Coach Cal is going to be there much longer, like 2, 3, 4 years. Do you think that relationship with him and Coach with Kentucky? Do you think he's their coach for the next 5, 10 years there?
It's a great question, Matt. And I think the last 2 weeks, and I know we shouldn't base, these decisions on such a short narrative, but there was so much negativity over the last couple of years. Last year was kind of just a forgettable year. The year before, you lose to a 15-seed in the tournament. The year before that is a debacle during COVID. And so I just bring it up because this year, with all the freshmen, he kind of got back to going to that freshman-heavy model. They were awesome. They beat North Carolina in the preseason. They destroyed their rival Louisville. And it felt like the fan base was like, hey, whether we win, lose, whatever, who cares? The only thing that we care about is that we're fun. I don't want to say who cares, but we're fun again. We're playing at an elite level. I do think the last week was tough. You lose to Florida at home, that's bad enough. But you lose to Tennessee in a night game. The crowd's been riled up. They've been camping out all day. And you just don't show up ready to play, and, oh, by the way, you give up 100 points. Now, to your point, Matt, I think Tennessee is one of the 2 or 3 best teams in the country. Forget the SEC. I think they're one of the 2 or 3 best teams in the country when they're fully clicking. But it doesn't excuse giving up 100, 200, 3 points, whatever it was. And I think this is kind of an important stretch for them. They get Gonzaga at home on this weekend. Gonzaga's not playing well. Ole Miss at home is obviously much improved this year. These are games, if you're Kentucky, you have to win. You can't keep losing these games, especially at home. And to your point, Matt, if it goes sideways, if they finish 6th in the SEC and they end up as a 7th seed and they lose in the second round again, I think it gets very interesting. And I wouldn't have said that 3-4 weeks ago, but I think the last week and a half where they've kind of a lot of the struggles of previous years have reemerged with what is unquestionably one of the most talented rosters in college basketball, definitely can say for sure there's a growing frustration within that fan base.
It's interesting. I don't view Calipari as a coach that would get out of the sport because of the current changes. I think he's a guy who's no, not at all. I think it's I think of it in terms of Harbaugh in a little bit, but almost in reverse, because he had most of his success, or at least big success in the NCAA tournament earlier in his tenure at Kentucky. Harbaugh
2012 was
it's
his
been
last
in reverse. It gets the national championship, but part of this is like, it's not a broken relationship with the fans that I think you're worried about here. It's a relationship with the athletic director. And I think that's a major reason why Harbaugh wanted to get out of Michigan. I think maybe in sanctions might be a reason why too, but he and Manuel I don't think got along. And I get the same sense. I think you've even brought it up too about Mitch Barnhart and Calipari, that's also part of it. But I don't view Calipari the same way that I do Krzyzewski or Jay Wright, or Saban. I think he got out too. I don't think it's because of current changes.
Phil, that was such awesome inside baseball right there, and I'm being 100% serious because that is a big thing. There is real friction there. There's been public friction over probably the last 18 months. I just talked to somebody else this week that basically was like, yeah, they don't really have any sort of relationship. They talk when they have to, and beyond that, that's all that it is. And so, I think the big thing, what I'll say about Kentucky fans, listen, everyone in our business and everyone listening knows the loudest, most vocal fans are on social media. I don't think the fan base is nearly as just ready to run this guy out of town as everybody thinks they are. But I also do think there is a level of expectation at Kentucky. I mean, it's one thing if you're really good, and I think even fans understand the SEC is improving as well. But when you see teams like Alabama, Auburn, consistently now, Phil, being better than you, not just a one-off, one-year blip, but really a 4 or 5 year track record. That's why I really do think these next 2-3 weeks, you have to get on track. You have to win some of these toss-up games. You get Bama at home in a couple weeks. You play Tennessee again. You play at Auburn. These are games you have to win. And, oh, by the way, you have to avoid bad losses, too. It's going to be a fascinating couple weeks if it goes sideways. Not sure that it will. But it could get really toxic there really quick. And to your excellent point, Phil, it's not just the fans that are frustrated. There's real friction with the AD as well.
AT, appreciate you. Have a great weekend, and we'll reconvene on college baseball opening day in a week from today, okay?
Yeah! Woo! All right. I'll be in the hog pen. I'll see you there.
I know you will. Noted college baseball guy, Aaron Torres.
Thanks, Aaron.
Also, we'll open our McClarty Daniel hotline right now for you if you want to get on. 877-377-6963.
We didn't get his favorite 7, but I'd asked you in the break. Ron Jaworski was 7.
He was, okay.
And then I think Michael Vick a little bit as well.
Barry Lunny Jr.
Barry Lunny. How can you can't forget Barry Lunny Jr.
I love talking with AT, and he pumped me up at the end there. His check is in the mail. But my favorite thing about him is you never know the sounds you get in the background. Whether it's the dishes, whether it's the toaster, or whether it's a siren. Yeah, we'll have odds on the sound next time in about a week. Stay with us.
Hello, this is Kevin Cowan at KC Insurance, and I just wanted to tell you all about plans that we have for Arkansans. It's through the Affordable Care Act, formerly known as Obamacare.
Video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Call or text the McClarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McClarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McClarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McClarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McClarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouth. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline is your #1 source for all your betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, and more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use our promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts.
Looking for an African adventure without the hassle of planning? Kruger Safari Club has got you covered. Our custom hunting and safari packages take care of everything from transportation to accommodations, so you can focus on enjoying the experience of a lifetime. With our team's extensive knowledge of the best hunting and safari spots in South Africa, Mozambique, and Zimbabwe, you'll have access to some of the most breathtaking views and exciting game hunting opportunities on the planet. And with our commitment to ethical hunting and giving back to the local community, you'll know that your trip with us is making a positive impact. Book your trip now and let us take care of the rest. Find out more at KrugerSafariClub.com.
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insight and analysis?
Hell yes.
How about listening to an Arkansas football legend?
Matt Jones, all he does is make big plays.
What's the voice of the Hogs have to say?
Hey, what a great crowd last night.
Don't forget about the Omahogs.
The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Matt Jones, Chuck Barrett, and Phil Elson, the best in the business, on the Hit That Line Podcast Network. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share.
Are you in need of a good power washing? Mike Jr.'s Mo Wash is a full-service pressure washing corporation with over 15 years of experience in the River Valley and Northwest Arkansas. Cleaning services include exterior home, fence, driveways, walkways, gutters, pool deck cleansing, and more. We remove dirt, grime, and more to give you that sparkle you desire. Call me at 479-763-5561. We're open Monday through Saturday from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Mike Jr.'s Mo Wash, one call, cleans it all.
Madonna has gone from like a virgin to like a surgeon. You can try to nip and tuck from the curse of sin, but eventually death is going to win. God will do major surgery on this sin-filled world, and when He does, people will try and hide their faces from Him. Even plastic Christians won't be exempt. Look up Isaiah chapter 2 and see how the spiritual world renders this an immaterial world. I'm Pastor A from Woodland. Read about it.
Line.com. Join the conversation. Call or text ESPN Arkansas on the McClarty Daniel Hotline, 877-377-6963. Now back to the hosts. Here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Sooner or later, may have to get a Miami Hurricanes wing in the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton, Matt. And two more former Hurricanes that have been elected into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Last night it was announced Andre Johnson makes it, and Devin Hester has gotten into Canton too. And there'll be another one on the way too, because Reggie Wayne still is not in the Hall of Fame. He will get in there.
I think so. Andre Johnson, beast mode. He was a stable there for the Houston Texans. And you look at his quarterbacks and Matt Schaub and Derek Carr. I mean, Derek Carr had so much talent.
I think it was David Carr.
David Carr, I'm sorry. Number 1 overall pick, was sacked, I think, 53 times in season 1. It just never was the same. You get hit that much. But, yeah, Andre Johnson, absolute freak. Julius Peppers there, Dwight Freeney, Devin Hester. Man, how cool. What a group, man. I think the number 1 all-time returner in the history of the game is Devin Hester. I know it's changed. Probably won't have a guy with his skill set on display ever again in the NFL because they've taken away kickoffs.
Well, and he wasn't a bad receiver. He just wasn't a featured guy. But that's the kind of specialist that he's got records that won't get broken now.
The thing he couldn't do very well, and I'm not talking bad about the kid because he's a Hall of Fame. He couldn't change speeds in his route running. That's why he wasn't. You look at Larry Fitzgerald, you look at other guys that can run routes. You have to be shifty, and you have to have that burst of changing speeds. Devin Hester's he's a one-speed guy. He's going. There's not a lot of change in him, and that's why he wasn't the best route runner. He could run a go on you. You know, he could get by you, but no, when it came to speed, his speed level went to 11, and they're like, well, isn't 10 the loudest? He's like, well, ours go to 11.
Clinton Portis, Najee Davenport, Santana Moss, Ken Dorsey, who could forget, Ed Reed, and Andre Johnson on the same team. There's a couple Hall of Famers.
Was Sean Taylor on that team too?
Was
it him and Ed Reed in the back? Yeah,
kind of wild. They'll have 12 Hall of Famers from Miami, and then it might be a minute because I'm not sure of the newest Hurricane that'll have a chance to get in.
Yeah, they had Jeremy Shockey.
Shockey on that team too.
Kellen Winslow, Greg Olson. He was a Miami Hurricane. I don't think he's a Hall of Famer though,
and he's being demoted as well. Freeney. Anybody ever been so?
They might have had Vince Wilfork on that team too.
Hester is associated with being a specialist. Freeney is associated more with one specific move than anybody in the history of the sport, with that spin move. And you kind of you think to yourself, well, why doesn't it work for somebody else? You watch some of the highlights of Dwight Freeney and that spin move. He he just had an ability to just get around a guy without even being touched. It's kind of shocking to watch that.
Well, their defense was set up with Peyton Manning was to get a lead, and then the other team has to pass the ball, and that's his specialty. No, you're right. He was on the right team. Their GM getting the guys together. I'm trying to think who their other defensive end was because they had another guy.
Robert Mathis.
Robert Mathis was an OG too. He's not Hall of Fame level, but he's the other guy where you can't double team both of them. And that's, man, he thrived in where he was. He couldn't have went to a better spot. You're with Peyton Manning getting leads, and it's pin your ears back and go get the quarterback.
Speaking of double teams, are you okay with Myles Garrett winning NFL Defensive Player of the Year?
He's the best defensive player I've seen in a couple years.
Well, so often we go to production, to statistics to look at this.
Yeah.
But the idea in this case, and hey, keep in mind, I'm a Steelers fan. I'd love it if T.J. Watt wins this award. But if you are statistically a better defense, and one of the reasons is because this guy consistently gets double teamed or even triple teamed at times, and he still, it's not like he was surpassed mightily in production. He was still a productive defensive end, but that's one of the reasons that the Browns were so good defensively.
100%. You think Bosa on the San Francisco 49ers is good? Garrett's better. Like it's I don't want to. You look at Reggie White. You look at Lawrence Taylor. You look at Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett is every bit as he's one of the best defensive players, especially at that position, I've seen in a long, long time. The dude he's phenomenal. How good he is. He's a Hall of Famer. No question. Him and Mike Evans, I believe, were on that same Texas A&M team. Both of them. We're just talking about Miami Hurricanes having guys. Myles Garrett is a Hall of Famer, no question about it.
But is he going to be one of those guys like a Hall of Famer who never got to the promised land, like a Patrick Willis?
Andre Johnson.
Like an Andre Johnson.
Yeah.
That really says a lot about a guy's ability. When Matt Schaub and David Carr were your quarterbacks, and it's not to insult those two, and one of the reasons Carr didn't have the kind of career that Houston hoped for is they never had an offensive line for him.
Yeah, he got hit. He was on his back.
And still with that, Andre Johnson goes in quickly. I think was he a first ballot guy? I think he was, which says a lot, man. Antonio Gates does not get in. Not yet. Now that feels a little bit odd to me, but I guess only one tight end has ever gone in on the first ballot. And that's someone you brought up recently, Tony Gonzalez. Speaking of, did he ever play in a Super Bowl?
Well, he went to Atlanta to finish out his career.
I just don't remember if he was in that.
Yeah,
in that last one.
I don't know if he was or not.
I don't think he was because he's already in the Hall of Fame. That was 5 years ago, right?
Yeah. You got to be out 5 years.
Or was it 6 years ago
to do that? I look at the next year's class, Phil. Eli Manning.
Now that's going to the first ballot. See, this is where a lot of the arguments will come from. Because Eli's numbers, I know what does he have? The most passing yards in the history of the New York Giants. If this guy, when he gets into the Hall of Fame, and I think eventually he will, it's for the 2 championships and for no other reason.
Beat the best team ever in the NFL. They were undefeated, best team. He beat them twice too. That's I don't know what the Patriots lost 3 Super Bowls with Tom Brady, and 2 of them were to Eli Manning.
Well, Greeny was talking about this earlier. They were talking about that 2007. Patriots team and how they might be, even though they didn't win the championship, the best team in NFL history. But you can't go in that direction if you don't actually win the Super Bowl. And Eli Manning to David Tyree is a huge reason why. Plaxico Burress, of course. Man, here's the other aspect of this, too. If you win championships and you play a major position for a team that's based in New York, you get into the Hall of Fame. That's how this operates. Otherwise, I'm not sure if Phil Rizzuto would have been a Hall of Famer. But he was the shortstop for the Yankees in all those great years in the 50s and the early 60s, too, so he gets in. And it's New York. New York kind of operates to run the sports media across the country. If you're looking at like where the base of it is located, those are the people that are doing the voting here. So if I'm thinking of it in those terms, Matt, yeah, Eli's a first ballot Hall of Famer, but I don't think for me, he wouldn't be a first ballot guy.
Well, and it's Patrick Willis is an Ole Miss guy too. He went to college at Ole Miss right there. So good for him. Patrick Willis was a stud. No question about it.
877-377-6963 is our McClarty Daniel hotline. 6 locations in Springdale and Bentonville. A good deal is never far away and always online at McClartyDaniel.com. They got 6 locations, so we can bring them up all day. Oh, we don't have a show tomorrow when it's 6 days away from Arkansas baseball. So the next number we'd be worried about would be number 4. Number 7 today, Mickey Mantle is top of the list. There's no other number 7 that goes any higher than Mickey Mantle. And maybe put Elway around the same area, but I think there's more Mickeys in the world that were named for Mantle than there were Johns named for Elway.
Except for Keanu Reeves in Point Break, Johnny Utah.
He should be in the Hall of Fame. Speaking of Point Break, I think that's 2 weeks away for our buddy C Unit over here. Stay with Halftime. C Movie coming up in just a moment.
Save today. The Super Bowl at Stuyvesant Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Poto.
Everyone is invited to save on every vehicle on our lot.
Every vehicle on our lot. We're smashing and slashing prices that make us cry, but will make you want to buy.
New and pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs,
Just like you see on TV.
Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, all on our lot. So come on over and save on the spot.
Save today the suitable way.
Stuyvesant Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Poto.
Hello, this is Sebastian County Assessor Zach Johnson here to remind you to assess your personal property by May 31st to avoid late penalty. You can do this in person at one of our 3 locations, over the phone, or online by going to www.countyservice.net. I would also like to remind any current homeowners or individuals buying their homes on contract to contact our office and check on your eligibility for the homestead tax credit. Contact us today to see if you qualify. The homestead tax credit can save you up to $425 off of your tax bill.
This ad sponsored by Sebastian County Assessor and paid for by Amendment 79.
Shop Meadors Lumber True Value for great bargains of the month. Change the ambiance in your home with a 4-pack of GE's HD light bulbs for only $13.99. Pick up a 32-gallon Rubbermaid trash can for only $19.99. Be ready for emergencies with Slime Emergency Tire Sealant for only $5.99. Dirt and grime are nowhere to be found with Spray Away's Glass Cleaner for only $2.79 and Swiffer's Power Mop Starter Kit for only $27.99. Get these bargains of the month at Meadors Lumber True Value.
Here's to you and yours from the friendly folks at In Good Spirits, your upscale liquor store in Fort Smith. At In Good Spirits, they've got what your taste buds are craving, including flavorful wines from around the world, scrumptious brandies and liqueurs, tempting whiskeys and beers, and fine cigars. Treat yourself to the best as you listen to the game. Check out In Good Spirits, 12100 Highway 71 South, across from Riley Farms in Fort Smith.
Do you need gutters but think they're too expensive, or that you need to get the soffit or fascia ready? No worries. Call the Gutter Guy. He does it all. No need to call multiple companies to get the right gutters for your home. Call the Gutter Guy. Quality, low maintenance, leak-free gutters with a 5-year warranty. The Gutter Guy also does vinyl siding and windows. The Gutter Guy. Over 30 years experience. Call 226-1259. Call the Gutter Guy.
Hi, I'm Kelly Smith, owner of Dixie Digital Imaging. Are you stuck in a paper jam of printer prices? Paper cuts from budget cuts? Don't throw in the towel. Call Dixie Digital Imaging and dive into our new and used inventory blowout. We're slashing prices on top-of-the-line Xerox, Brother, and Epson printers and multifunction devices. Gently used or brand new models that are tired of being in our warehouse. Don't miss out on these deals. Call 479-783-6600 for more details. Quantities and availability are limited. Dixie Digital Imaging, bringing document innovations to the River Valley.
2024 annual passes are now available at the Ben Guerin Golf Course. We offer a variety of plans to fit your budget and needs. We have special pricing for juniors, seniors, and military. If you are looking for the best golf value in the River Valley, then look no further than Ben Guerin Golf Course. Book your 2024 tournament outings now. For more information, call the Pro Shop at 646-5301. Go to benguerringolf.com or follow us on Facebook. When you think golf, think Ben Guerin.
Honey, I found a great new house for us to buy. Look at the photos.
Yeah? Who's gonna clean that big house?
We'll hire a housekeeper.
And who's gonna mow all that grass?
I will, on the weekends.
And who will get the kids to school?
We'll start a neighborhood carpool.
You thought of everything, didn't you?
Yep.
Except, who's gonna sell this house we're living in now?
Nick and Ellie Glidewell. nickandellie.com. Equal housing opportunity, Sagely and Edwards Realtors.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Want to jump in the conversation? Call or text ESPN Arkansas on the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Our magic number today is 7. C movie Dirty Dancing is Patrick Swayze's 7th movie in chronological order. Red Dawn, which you are watching this Saturday, or tonight, or Sunday. I don't mean to, figure out your whole weekend for you. That was his 5th movie. Youngblood came out after that. Steel Dawn. We're not asking you to watch Steel Dawn. You don't need to get your eyes around that thing. Next of Kin came after Roadhouse, and then it was Ghost. You fired up for this, man? I'm excited for you. This is a scary movie. If you can put yourself into transfer yourself into 1984 as an American youth, and when that first scene hits in the high school, I'm not going to tell you what happened. Man, scared the absolute crap out of me.
I love movies like that, man. I love unexpected, edge of your seat. You're actually watching the movie, and you don't want to miss any of it. That's the type of movies I like.
You're going to be screaming Wolverines all weekend long. You have no idea what I'm getting into here. I'm thinking of even watching that with the kids tonight, since I'd like to scare them a little bit, too. Hey, kids, let's take a trip back into 1984 when we all were worried that this might actually happen. And then at some point, maybe I'll get you to watch the Day After, which was the nuclear bomb disaster movie that came out in the early 80s with, was it Jane Fonda? That also scared a lot of us. So
that is scary to think.
I'm just going to basically try to scare you for the remainder of your time here while you work with us, and it won't be horror movies. You'll have a good time this weekend. So you're watching it tonight. Is the missus involved in it?
Well, that's the thing. If I watch it tonight, she won't be able to watch it. But so I might just make it tomorrow night. We'll have to figure it out. It just kind of depends. It sounds so good, man. I don't know if I can wait till tomorrow.
Yeah, save Dirty Dancing for her.
Yeah.
You should just go ahead. If you're feeling it, go ahead and check it out.
How about a double feature for you and the missus this weekend? A Patrick Swayze double feature. One night,
Dirty Dancing.
Red Dawn. Second night, Dirty Dancing.
That might
and you can do whatever you want to do on Sunday. It doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, I think that would be good. She would probably enjoy Dirty Dancing probably a lot more.
This is great. We're educating the youth, Matt. We are helping relationships stay strong and turning it into show content at the same time. You got a couple divorcees that you're working with here. We're just trying to help you out in life, all right?
Yeah.
That's the only thing I worry about with this.
I need all the help I can get.
You do. We haven't turned them in the wrong direction yet. I mean, you haven't said you didn't like anything that we asked you to watch yet or listen to.
I really have not. So that y'all are undefeated right now.
Makes me feel pretty good about that. All right, good. 877-377-6963 is our McClarty Daniel hotline. Will the missus watch the Super Bowl with you?
She's probably going to have to do that because I'm going to have it on and we're going to,
you hear how C Music is taking charge here, man?
She might be interested in the Taylor Swift stuff a little bit, whatever. And the halftime performance usually catches her eye. So I don't know how much football watching she'll be doing, but she's going to be watching the Super Bowl.
She'll get up and just sort of do something else during the game.
Probably.
You can turn the sound up for the commercials.
You got to watch.
Oh, and the commercials. She probably will like those too.
You got to watch She's All That with Freddie Prinze Jr., Matthew Lillard, but it has this guy named Usher Raymond in the movie, and he's doing the halftime performance at the Super Bowl this game. So talk about just wow. But it has the late great Paul Walker was in that movie too. So it's Kieran McCulkin of Succession.
Kieran, I'm sure he would want you to pronounce it Kieran.
I don't think he's so short. I don't think he would. He would
just
care.
won a Golden Globe, or was it an Emmy for Succession?
When you're 5'4", you got to step on a stool to talk to me. So I can say his name however. I love that dude. He's a great actor.
I'm like 5'9", and I could use a stool to talk to you.
No,
that's why I'm standing. You're sitting, and you're up to my neck.
Then you would be scary. Yeah, no scary today.
That's a good idea. We'll just keep the scariness to Red Dawn.
In Red Dawn, yeah.
That's it. Just the geopolitics of the moment, and the feeling that society could crumble with an invasion coming from Cuba or Mexico.
You said it's scary. My dog actually reacts pretty funny to scary movies. When he was younger, I let him watch a scary movie, and he's...
Well, after his surgery, I'd be scared of anything you bring around me.
Right.
I mean, come on now. That's why you weren't even here last Friday.
The trust circle has been broken.
The dog is just a little bit lighter than he was a week and a half ago. I'd be staying away from you, too. You're lucky if he ever comes up and licks you. Let's stay with us. We'll get into the second hour of halftime in just a moment. James Teague will join us from the Teague Law Firm, former Arkansas pitcher. We'll preview the baseball season in about 20 minutes, so get on the horn. We've got an open segment coming up. Halftime, back after this.
And we're back with the action. Coke Zero Sugar might be the best Coke ever.
That's right, Jim. With an irresistible taste and zero sugar, Coke Zero Sugar is a must-try for any sports fan. So make sure you... Wait, Jim, I didn't mean try it right now. We're still on the air.
Best Coke ever? Take a taste, Jen.
Really?
No, not right now, Jen. We got a game to call.
Subiaco in Scranton, if you made a resolution to get reliable internet for the new year, Wave Rural Connect can make that happen. The latest zone covering Subiaco in Scranton is now open. Make this New Year's resolution come true with internet, TV, and phone service from a local provider you can trust. Order online at signup.waveruralconnect.com or phone 1-833-492-8372. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
Get the absolute most bang for your buck this month at Harry Robinson, Salisal Ford, 1 mile south of exit 308 off of I-40 in Salisal. Matching down payments are still at Harry Robinson, Salisal Ford. 1 mile south of exit 308 off of I-40 in Salisal. And view the inventory online at harryrobinson.com.
I know we're always on the go, heading to Fayetteville, Little Rock, Oklahoma City, and you need a place to fill up. But not just for gas. I need snacks, drinks, and a restroom that doesn't make me throw up. That's why my new favorite pit stop is Jam Mart number 10, located at 6201 Grand Avenue on the way out of town. I can't stop by without getting something from their hot box or a fresh-made burger. That's Jam Mart number 10, located at 6201 Grand Avenue in Fort Smith.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, we will be dry across the north, seeing a little bit of wet and stormy weather across the south today. High temperatures this afternoon into the upper 60s. We remain dry across the north tonight. Overnight lows near 45. Showers with a slight chance of thunderstorms across the south, low 50s. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by In Good Spirits, Fort Smith's premier source for fine wines, specialty beers, and liquor.
I hate everything you just said.
KERX Paris Fort Smith. This is Halftime, coming at you from the Bushlight Studios on ESPN 95.3.
They're hilarious.
Coming to you live from the Crabtree RV Center Studios. Broadcasting on ESPN Arkansas and streaming on hitthatline.com.
We got a good one tonight. You got a team in here that doesn't respect you. Joaquin said dominate, and we not doing it.
We're going to go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field.
Matt Jones may take it to the house and the dunk.
Coach said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's halftime with Phil Olsen and Matt Jones.
From the bottom of my toes to the top of my head. I put my heart up. Let's go, man.
Probably as frustrated as I've been the first half.
What's able one Razorback?
Second half, very happy.
Is vintage Matt Jones. Here we go. Right now, let's take the field.
Call or text on the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Olsen and Matt Jones.
Back on halftime when we get into hour number 2, which will be the last serious hour of the week since the golden hour's coming up. And those who are listening right now said, wait a minute, what happened to the first 11 hours here this week? I thought none of it was serious. And you're right about that. Phil Elson, Matt Jones, Christian Johnston, the C Unit, C Movie producing an open segment now before we talk with James Teague from the Teague Law Firm in about 15 minutes. So that McClarty Daniel hotline's open now at 877-377-6963. Arkansas and Georgia tomorrow afternoon at Bud Walton Arena. It'll be a 5 o'clock tip. Chuck and Zim get it going here on ESPN Arkansas at 4:30 with the courtside show. Muss had a press conference that started about 32 minutes ago. I think it has come to a conclusion. And main takeaway you got from this, I didn't get a chance to watch the press conference or listen to it, but reading some of the writers' tweets, Trevin Brazile, it's not even a matter of him not playing against Georgia because he's not going to, but there is no idea when he's going to be back. He's not practicing, and according to Muss, he's having trouble moving laterally. He also talks about Devo, excited to have him back. He's been a part of 4 really good years. Glad to have him back. He's practicing hard. 0 restrictions. All right, but there's a lot of restrictions, it sounds like, for Brazile, Matt. And I think, what do we have, another month in the season here? Regular season's final game is Alabama on the 9th. It's exactly a month from now. And if he's not practicing now and if he's not comfortable moving laterally, it makes me feel like we might have seen the last of Trevin Brazile as an active Razorback for this season.
You know, you want to see that kid have success. He has so much talent. He is just uber talented. It oozes out of him. He hasn't really looked comfortable most of the year when he's out there. He there was a couple games where he was aggressive. I guess since he twisted his ankle again, or it kind of goes up your knee, kind of the same thing. He's just been a little timid out there, and it doesn't. And if you're kind of thinking about it and you're not really playing, then you don't need to play, because that's how you really get hurt. You know, you gotta be able to go out there and play and have fun, and you hope that he gets healthy. He's a guy that. The question would be, is he a recruiting tool? Is he somebody when Muss is out here recruiting guys to get and I don't know all the strategies and all the things they use, but when you're talking to these kids, is it, hey, because is he's going to come back, right? Like Trevin Brazile, because he will get drafted. I think he'd be a second-round pick right now, but based on his potential, his height, his athletic ability, I mean, the NBA is so weird. They will draft you in the first round and not expect you to play for 3 years, where other sports, you're a first-rounder, it's why aren't you starting week 1? But he's super talented. I think he does have he will play in the NBA someday. A lot of room to grow. Do you want him back on the team next year? You know, if you're a fan of the Hogs, and you saw a little bit of this with KJ, I think people just were ready for a change. There's like you're not winning, you're not doing very well. Because KJ's uber talented. He can play. He can play at the SEC level. But it was kind of like, well, let's do a change. Brazile can come back next year. Does he come back next year? And is that helping you get some of these recruits in the transfer portal to say, hey, is he a guy that people want to play with?
Some of this has to do with goes on over the next month, but I don't know if we see him play at all for the rest of the season. And I think about the rest of the team, how many of them do return here. I don't remember how many have eligibility left.
That
but there are
COVID year
certainly a
messed
few.
everything up. Yeah,
It did, but this season has been messed up from the start.
everybody can come. I mean, Devo can come back for another year. Do you want Devo and Brazil being the leaders of this team next year? Is that what you think? We can go out and get a couple other guys. We saw it with Anthony Black, Jordan Walsh. You saw it with some other guys to be able to do well. Ricky Council. Can you go out and pick some pieces to say we got Devo, we got Brazil? Is Mark eligibility? You know, who are some of these pieces? Landon Blocker supposed to come back next year.
Well, think about this too. It's like, so how many of the captains from the football team are now going to be playing for another football team? Not through Arkansas. I think it's 3 out of 4, right?
Our best players.
These two players that you're talking about for basketball, Devo, Mr. Razorback, and Brazil, maybe the most talented player on the team. I'm not saying that they were captains, but they certainly were being looked to be leaders.
Player. Yeah.
Do you want them back? This has not been a team that necessarily feels like it's been very well player-led. So in that sense, you either got to have a change of mindset or the answer is no. And then that's independent of the idea for the two of them is, do they want to come back to Arkansas? Does Brazil want to go into the draft feeling like, hey, there's nothing guaranteed that he'd be drafted next year? Then again, I mean, you're not going to get a bonus if you're drafted in the second round anyway.
I think, yeah, that's the whole thing is how healthy are you? Brazil, just his length and how he's been blessed by God with his size that he's a pterodactyl. So yeah, he gets drafted. He's going to play. He's not
also spent more time on the bench than he has spent on the court, injured.
That's what I mean. He's not a lottery pick. He has trouble bending. He has trouble moving laterally. And he's been injury prone. So that's to me, I don't think he's a first rounder, right? And potentially and talent wise, absolutely he's a first rounder. But what we've seen, he's not there right now. So if he came back, worked on his craft, worked on his trade. The other thing is would people in the portal be wanting him? You know, because if you back-to-back seasons, you're injured, not playing. Last year, I know his ACL fluke deal. This year, whatever reason, he doesn't feel right. I think if we were 20-3, I think he might be feeling right. I think being 11-11 has something to do with that.
You remember with about a month of the football season left, well, you're feeling a little better a month with a month of the football season left because that was after the win against Florida. But then as that last month progressed, you started to feel like, all right, there's going to be a sign hanging outside the Smith Center that says playing time available at this school right now. And I think there's going to be the same thing for the basketball team once this season is over. Let's take a phone call on the McClarty Daniel hotline. And Cody from Blue Ball is here with us. What's up, Cody? How are you?
Hey, Phil, T-Bone, how are you guys doing today?
Coco.
What's going on?
What? Not a lot. Just enjoying this Friday, man. Just got done eating lunch and ready to finish out the rest of the day, fellas. How about y'all?
We've got another almost 2 hours left here.
Okay, well, I'll be here for that as well.
Okay.
But I had y'all was talking about the Swayze movies and stuff, which he was also in a Disney movie called Tall Tale, where he played Pecos Bill. Some of the stories, have y'all ever seen that or heard about that?
I have not.
No.
No, okay. Well, that also might be something really good to watch as well. But I had been watching Duck Dynasty. You guys remember Duck Dynasty? I know not really much in the news and stuff no more, but y'all remember that?
Yes, sir.
That I remember. We've even brought it up recently because Duck Commander played quarterback at Louisiana Tech.
Yeah, Phil? Okay. Well, there's an episode on there where Phil is taking Jace and these guys to this fishing hole. But he says he has to blindfold them first, okay? But he calls it the Bradshaw because apparently old Bradshaw wanted Phil to take him fishing because he knew how to do it really good or whatever. But every time he took him to his secret hole, old Phil would blindfold old Bradshaw there. And, dude, I didn't know they were really good friends. Did y'all?
Well, I knew they played at the same
college,
time. Yeah, I knew they were teammates. I didn't realize about anything with their friendship. I would also say, like, Terry Bradshaw grew up in Louisiana. I'm guessing he didn't learn how to fish when he was in college.
No, probably not. Probably not. But I'm definitely ready for the Super Bowl, fellas. Going for the 49ers myself, and I hope things work out really well. And have you guys, I just want to ask you one more question, guys. Have you guys ever seen Eastbound and Down with Kenny Powers? Have y'all watched that?
You remember sophomore year, I wore a cape.
Yeah, okay. Let the
Stevie
boy
Janikowski.
watch.
Oh, yeah, there we go. You know how to make me disappear? Keep calling me daddy.
That's one I need to rewatch.
Yeah,
That's
I think
that's a series I got to rewatch so I can do lines with
Have you seen Vice Principals? It came out right after Eastbound and Down.
No.
Same crew.
No.
Yeah. Have you seen
No,
Righteous
Matt.
Gemstones? Same Danny McBride.
Nope.
And okay, you got to check them out, man.
Wow, dude. Okay, Righteous Gemstones and I remember seeing the Vice Principals and stuff. And dude, I know how we are best friends. Just real quick, because you said that you like Sister Act, and dude, that has Harvey Keitel in it, and she delivers a good line to him at the end, where she says, "Hey Vince, got 2 words for you." She says, "Sister Mary Clarence." She's like, "Bless you." And that was it, dude. That was the hardest blow I think Harvey Keitel's ever taken from Whoopi. But I hope you guys have a great weekend, and hope to talk to you next week.
Thanks, Cody. Good to hear from you. We'll take a break, and we'll talk with James Teague from the Teague Law Firm in just a moment. Brought to you by Crabtree RV Center in Alma. That's the dealership that has served the River Valley and Northwest Arkansas for over 70 years. At the same place, junction of I-40 and I-49 in Alma, right beside the Cracker Barrel. You're going to give your family the best experience when you're looking for an RV. They'll help you choose the right one for the adventures that you talk about. The service and parts department is there, too, and everything you need in between at Crabtree RV, making your family's dreams come true for over 70 years and 4 generations. CrabtreeRV.com for more information. Chris Chelios wearing number 7. I like when you bring the hockey ones in. Ben Roethlisberger wore number 7. Probably the most John Elway-like quarterback outside of John Elway.
Man, he was tough. He was fun to watch.
And we'll talk with James Teague about Arkansas baseball in just a moment.
The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
Talking to Isaiah Satania.
Last year wasn't a reflection of Arkansas football. We're changing it, and, I can just see a difference in the guys this year. We're a lot closer as a team, and I feel like we got rid of some of the negatives and kind of the cancers in the locker room, and I feel like this year is going to be a lot better.
Don't miss The Morning Rush. Weekdays from 6 till 9. Only on ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com.
Riley Farm Dental, at the entrance to Riley Farms, provides every type of dental care and procedure for you and your family. From general dentistry, braces, implants, and cosmetics. Dr. Sparkman, Davis, and Farmer give all of their patients better lives with a better smile, more confident, and a comfortable experience every time. Riley Farm Dental, 5901 Riley Park Drive, Suite A, at the entrance to Riley Farms. Now offering same-day crowns. Call 226-3500 for an appointment or visit RileyFarmDental.com.
This is Northside head football coach Felix Curry. I call 782-8940. That's 782-8940.
Hi, this is Ricky Smith, head basketball coach for the Northside Lady Bears. I dial 782-8940. That's 782-8940.
What a great time of the year. It's also a great time to take advantage of York Factory rebates on high-efficiency HVAC products. Give us a call at 782-8940.
That's 782-8940.
Subiaco in Scranton. If you made a resolution to get reliable internet for the new year, Wave Rural Connect can make that happen. The latest zone covering Subiaco in Scranton is now open. Make this New Year's resolution come true with internet, TV, and phone service from a local provider you can trust. Order online at signup.waveruralconnect.com or phone 1-833-492-8372. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
Bet Saracen is Arkansas's #1 mobile app for placing sports wagers.
There's big news in the mobile sports betting business. Bet Saracen was just named the 15th largest sportsbook in America. That's because Arkansans like to do business with a winner. Find all your winners on Bet Saracen. Download it today and look for my RR prop bet specials. I pick them, you win them.
Bet Saracen is Arkansas's favorite sports wagering app.
Gambling problem? Call 800-522-4700.
Pickup truck, sports car, motorcycle, minivan, townhouse, two-story, farmhouse, fixer-upper. What you drive and where you live is different for everyone, so it's important to have insurance that fits your needs and is just right for you. At Shelter Insurance, we understand that. which is why our agents help you design a comprehensive auto, home, and life insurance plan. Insurance that fits just right.
See Agent Chris Dooley in Fort Smith.
The Hangout, Fort Smith's newest fitness center. Over 8,000 square feet of 24-hour fitness. Indoor pickleball, tennis, and racquetball. Looking for help with your fitness needs? The Hangout has group and individual fitness training, with more options coming soon. The Hangout, 5400 Gary Street, or thehangoutfs.com. Pickleball leagues forming now. Be a part of something different, something better that Fort Smith has needed. Fitness, sports, and more. Let's hang out.
If you're interested in continuing your involvement in high school athletics and want to make some extra money, what better way to do so than by becoming an official? For information on how you can give back to student athletes in Arkansas, please contact us at 501-955-2500. Again, that's 501-955-2500. The Arkansas Activities Association is looking for sports officials, and you may be the answer.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. Hey, Welcome back into Halftime Live from the Crabtree RV Studios. Crabtree RV Center in Alma, where we make your dreams come true.
Well, head of the McClarty-Daniel Hotline. It is a baseball conversation now, maybe a few other things. James Teague, former Arkansas pitcher, is back for another season with his father at Teague Law Firm. They've been around nearly 30 years, helping you, your family, and friends going through tough times. They're the best of Northwest Arkansas in 2019, 2021, and 22. James will help you with all family law matters, guardianships, adoption, child support. He'll help with criminal law, such as ranging anywhere from felonies, traffic offenses, DWIs, and more. Teague Law Firm is a full-service law firm. They help in estate needs as well. You're going to talk to actual lawyers. You don't have to go through a bunch of secretaries. That's Teague Law Firm. They're online at teague-law.com. They're on the phone at 479-877-1688. James, really excited to have you back throughout this baseball season every Friday on Halftime. And how are you?
Phil, I'm ecstatic to be back. I'm looking forward to another season. It feels like we just left off. It feels like, but it's warming up. You can kind of feel it in the air. Baseball season's right around the corner. So I'm
watch this pitching staff. I know you had pitchers that were teammates of yours at Arkansas. I've seen a more talented group of starting pitchers than what we're going to be trotting out next weekend and hopefully throughout the rest of the season. It's really something to see.
Yeah, I think it's no question the group we're looking at here is quite a bit better than anything we had working for us, 2014 to 16. These guys, I think you got the experience. You've also got, just the stuff and the velocity as well. And if they, put it all together, I think they could really do something special. We've kind of said that the last couple of years, and then we've had some injuries and this, that, and the other. So I think if they stay healthy and do what they can do, it could be pretty exciting starting rotation.
Yeah, and right now everyone's healthy, and that's the best we've seen. I've been able to get my eyes on each of the starters. Velocity's up. Their stuff looks good. Hagan added a split-fingered fastball to go along with the changeup and his breaking pitch, and I really think about that splitter with his fastball, which does stay up a little bit, could be a real weapon. And man, he's got a chance to maybe be a top 10 pick this next season too.
Yeah, I haven't seen the splitter in person. Splitters can be tough. It seems like guys either have it or they don't. a lot of times it has to do with just how the ball feels in your hand or how large your fingers are to whether you can throw it. So I think it's a pitch that can be kind of fleeting and kind of hard to find, but if he can, throw it for strikes and have a success with it to pair with that fastball, that's going to be pretty deadly.
I might have asked you about this before, but I kind of forget. Did you ever throw a splitter? Did you try that pitch before?
So I tried to throw like a kind of a hybrid between a splitter and a changeup because my hands are pretty small, so I had a hard time really throwing like a true splitter. But I also would cut a changeup. I couldn't get it to pronate quite right, so I would actually imagine throwing a two-seam and you just take your fingers outside of the two-seam and throw it kind of like a splitter. But I couldn't command it very well, so I ended up kind of abandoning it.
Yeah, that is a pitch that if you don't throw it right, it's going to end up either all the way to the backstop or it's going to end up over the fence. So you got to make sure.
I had enough pitches to the backstop. I didn't want to try to add some crazy splitter and have a couple more.
Hey, what's life like for you now, man? I mean, you had a kid last baseball season while we were on the air. Well, it didn't happen while we were on the air. It was during the season. That would have been an interesting segment. I think you're going to another one on the way too, right?
No, not another one on the way. So we did have one in June, and thankfully delivery didn't occur while we were on the air.
Yeah, that would have been interesting.
He's doing great. He's growing. It's fun. We had a girl first. Girls are amazing, and then now we have a boy, and then it's like a whole new world with a boy. So fun, kind of having a little me running around, trying to. And he's 8 months now, so he's starting to get a little more personality. So it's a lot of fun.
It's like to try to take a kid of that age to a baseball game because I'm assuming you can't stay away from Baum Walker throughout the season. But when does he get to go to his first game?
We'll get him some earmuffs. I think we'll give some earmuffs. Bundle him up. I'm throwing out the first pitch on Saturday, so he'll be there. He'll be there to cheer me on. I guess. Hope that one doesn't go to the backstop, but. That'll be his first one.
Are you going to throw the knuckle? What are you going to go out there with?
Well, I think Bobby's catching, so I was giving Bobby a hard time that maybe I'd kind of deke him a little bit and kind of come in soft and then missile one in there. But I don't want to look like a tryhard either, so I think I'll just lob it.
Wait a minute, no. I mean, you gotta make Bobby work. He works with the catchers. Make him show the catchers exactly how to block a pitch in the dirt. I mean, come on. I mean, you can help the team here.
I told him, I was like, I want to see you in full gear, signs, the whole deal. And then I was like, I don't know. Maybe I'll take it easy on you. Because, I mean, nothing looks worse than the has-been that shows up and tries to let one go, and then it spikes it, and then it's like, oh, that's, give it up, buddy,
But you got to do it on the mound, right? Like, you can't be a former Arkansas pitcher that played in the professional ranks and throws that ceremonial first pitch from the downslope of the mound. Like, you got to be on the top of the hill, right? You're probably already getting your arm loose.
Yeah, but it feels a bit sacrilegious to touch the rubber. You want the opening, starter to be the first on the mound. The dirt's clear. He can rake out the rubber how he likes. He might not want a bunch of tennis shoe tracks on it either, so that's another consideration.
What was the nickname that we heard from you when you pit? Was it Angry T? Was that what it was?
It's Teague X. It was
Teague
the alter
X.
ego.
Yeah. What would Teague X's reaction have been if some guy threw a ceremonial first pitch on the hill and had his footprint there, and you're the starting pitcher that day?
Yeah, there would have been some words exchanged for sure. It would have been, who do you think you are? Your days are over, loser. Get out of here, kind of deal. So I think I'll just play it safe. Maybe throw it from the front of the cut of the mound.
James, I know you know about the injury to Peyton Stovall, and so there's a couple ways to look at this. One, looking at it from the player side of things here, and I hate this for Peyton. A broken foot is something you can come back from, and hopefully it's not something that lingers like an arm injury or a torn muscle can sometimes. But I'm starting to feel like how difficult it can be to. His season essentially will start like against Ole Miss in April. He won't have that time to ramp it up against non-conference teams. I don't know if we'll ever see Peyton at his best. He's freshman season. He was good near the end, injured last year, and he was going to be a first-round pick coming in here. So I hate it for him.
Yeah, you got to just hope that the injuries happen earlier opposed to later. Maybe he ramps up early on in SEC play, and then by the time the postseason comes around, he's playing his best at that time. And really, that's when we need to be playing our best. We may just kind of get bits and pieces of him as his career goes on, just by way of these injuries that continue to happen. But I think ultimately, as long as he has time to really ramp up prior to the postseason, that's really all you can ask for.
But then there's the other side to it, and it's how does the team deal with this? And I think you'll see Jared Sprague-Lott, the transfer from Richmond, play at second base, and Peyton Holt at third base. So I think I'll try to spin this in a positive way. It's going to remove a little bit of the power from the lineup, maybe some run production. But I think Sprague-Lott looks really fast. I think he's a really good infielder. Dave said he's the best infielder on the team. So it'll be interesting to see what happens when Stovall does come back, because this is Jared's opportunity, to start in the SEC after playing in the A-10 for 4 years.
Yeah, I think you look back, how the year starts is, way different than how it ends. And so I think as many guys that get opportunities and produce, and maybe the lineup gets moved around, this guy started third, maybe goes to second, shortstop's hurt, this guy moves around. There's going to be a lot of shuffling. So I think these guys, it's just a matter of, who's going to fill that spot, who's going to produce, and then the lineup kind of writes itself from there.
Yeah, it kind of does feel like that. When you were at Arkansas, and it's 7 days before the start of the real season, and it's a scrimmage weekend, what's this weekend like?
So it's funny you say that. I had a Friday morning class. It was a psych class, and I'm like very, very curious, very intuitive. I really love the class, but I would always be a little nervous, and I would think, I'm so nervous, I don't want to get into an argument on some psychology principle, because I got to focus on the game. And so I'd always be very reserved in that class, where typically I'd be very outspoken, just because it's nerve-wracking. You've got all the fans are ready, people are ready. Like I said, it's getting warm outside. Your parents, everyone wants to come watch, and it's just it's part of the experience. And so you got to gear up, you got to get ready for it.
Absolutely. Well, we're excited about the season. Obviously, we'll be airing every game on ESPN Arkansas. We'll have James on each Friday here on Halftime. I think he'll be on the other two shows to talk a little bit throughout the week as well. And James, what's going on these days at the Teague Law Firm that you want to tell us about?
It's kind of more of the same. We're just plugging along, kind of doing what we do. It's the caseload, I would say, is more domestic, being family law, divorce, custody, child support, those things. But I kind of feel like a veteran since we talked last. A lot of cases under my belt since our last conversations, but it's really going well. I think we're really finding our stride and excited to just keep doing what we're doing.
Well, that's great. Well, we'll get into more of that as we go throughout the baseball season too.
Who you got in the Super Bowl, James?
Oh, yeah.
I think the Chiefs have just kind of been given the world. I can't root for the Chiefs. I know, Bobby Wernick, he's a big Chiefs fan, and everyone loves the Chiefs.
And Dave Van Horn too.
I want to see the Chiefs lose. I know some people will hate that, but that's kind of where I'm at.
That's James the hater right there. I understand where you're coming from there too. James, it's great talking with you. We'll look forward to it next Friday, okay?
Yeah, Phil, I'm excited. And Matt, I'm glad to be on with you guys, and I'm looking forward to the rest of the season.
James Teague from the Teague Law Firm. He does great work over there, and he's really good when it comes on halftime here. I'd be starting to feel the nerves about being ready
fuzzies
for that first pitch.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, not for the baseball season itself, but to actually go back out there and throw out a ceremonial first pitch. It feels like it might be.
How many first pitches have you thrown?
Never.
Oh, okay.
Never done it.
I figured you might be old hat at that.
Nope,
Yeah.
never done it. Nobody's ever asked me to do it before. I'm not saying please ask me to do it either, because look, I get nervous before I go on the air for a baseball game or a basketball game or this show. I'd be scared out of my mind.
What about your pops, though?
Oh, he thinks he'd be ready to pitch against the Razorbacks.
He'd be
right
like,
now.
I'll go the first inning.
No.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't want to throw out the ceremonial first pitch. He actually wants to take on the team.
I like it.
He's asked me this before. He legitimately started asking me one time when I worked for the Travelers, can I get a one-day contract? And I thought he was more like half joking than anything else. But he really thinks he could get these guys out. Well, the reason you might get him out, it's like, you ever watched Arkansas struggle against a team that nobody is a fastball any better than 75? Well, they struggle because they should be able to hit. They're seeing 75 in batting practice and geared up for something that's like 90 during the game. They're like, Dad, this is why you might actually get them out. But I don't need to be tearing my father down. Do not need to be tearing my father down. All right, we'll break. We'll come back with your calls and texts. 877-377-6963 is our McClarty Daniel hotline, and we are right back after this.
Get ready for adventure with unbeatable deals at Wheels RV. Now through the end of February, we're rolling out the red carpet for you with our exclusive employee pricing event on select in-stock trailers. That's right, you pay what we pay. It's our way of saying thank you for choosing Wheels RV. Employee pricing on select models. RV show pricing on all new and used inventory. Hurry in, this offer is for a limited time only. Visit Wheels RV today for details and to start planning your next great adventure. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
At Red River Dodge, not only do we have new vehicles, but we also have top quality pre-owned, all the way from your big rig trucks to your luxury class SUVs. Are you needing to trade in a used vehicle? That's no problem. Here at Red River Dodge, we give top dollar for your trade-in. Whatever it is you're needing, here at Red River Dodge, we have it. Give us a call today at 501-362-5831 or visit us on the web at redriverdodge.com. And don't forget, folks, we deliver.
This is halftime.
Would you like to cut your utility bills without cutting comfort? Stay cool and save while enjoying the reliability and efficiency of a new Luxair HVAC system. Have your contractor call J&B Supply to hook you up with a Luxair system perfectly suited for your home. Luxair provides optimal comfort, energy savings, and lasting performance. J&B Supply, where the professionals go for all their HVAC, plumbing, and electrical needs since 1968. J&B Supply with locations in Fort Smith, Springdale, and Bentonville.
At A&P Auto Sales, we take pride in the way we do business. We focus 100% on our customers and believe car buying should be a fun, hassle-free experience. We will work with your budget and offer a dependable car at a price you can afford. Bank financing is available with approved credit or cash is always accepted. Hop on over to 1202 Fayetteville Road in Van Buren and choose from a wide selection of cars, trucks, and SUVs. Contact us today at 353-1246 or check us out online at apautosales.net. Find your next car at A&P Auto Sales in Van Buren.
Hi, I'm Mike Van Jr. with Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash. You can count on my team to provide top quality pressure washing and exterior cleaning services for your property.
What all do you service?
Fence washing, gutter, or deep concrete cleaning for your home, commercial business, and more.
Do you have insurance?
Absolutely. We're covered with liability insurance, and we also use safe and effective wash methods, leaving your home or business looking brand new.
I guess I need to go to your website, mjmobilewash.com.
Or just give me a call at 479-763-5561.
Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash. One call cleans it all.
Remodeling your bathroom? Don't let your imagination be limited by out-of-the-box shower doors or tub enclosures. Arkansas Glass and Mirror is your local source for all things glass, including plexiglass, mirrors, and shower doors since 1964. Arkansas Glass and Mirror has more selections, better prices, and the experience to help you build the shower of your dreams. They also have the only showroom in the area to help you create those dreams. Professional installation and professional service. Only at Arkansas Glass and Mirror, 1316 South Zero, Fort Smith, or online at arkansasglassandmirror.com.
Flu vaccines, both regular and high dose for seniors, are now available at Law's Drugstore in Fort Smith. Call 452-6116 to schedule your shot appointment. Usually there is no cost when covered by your insurance. Law's Drug has COVID vaccines, RSV vaccines for ages 60 plus. Pneumonia and tetanus shots are also available. Law's Drugstore, 6802 Rogers Avenue behind Outback Steakhouse. Law's Drugstore, open 6 days a week to safely care for you and your family.
Walk-Ons is always a win, whether it's a post-game celebration, drinks with the crew, or an easy weeknight dinner. And Voodoo Shrimp, plus fan favorites like juicy burgers and fresh salads. Find your nearest location in Rogers, Fayetteville, Fort Smith, Conway, and coming soon to Little Rock, or order online or in the app. Walk-On Sports Bistro for the win.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. Make sure to follow Halftime on Twitter at HitThatLineAR and on Facebook and Instagram at HitThatLine. Call or text ESPN Arkansas on the McClarty Daniel Hotline, 877-377-6963. Now back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
I meant to check in on the softball score because they've got a game that started about an hour ago. They're in Boca Raton, and they beat Ohio 7-3. So there you go. 3-0 record to start the season for Courtney Deifel's softball team. Women's basketball, though, took one on the chin last night with, man, this was a tough one to figure out. Arkansas had maybe their best quarter of the season last night. They scored 35 points in the second quarter at Gainesville in the O-Dome, took a 10-point lead into the fourth quarter, and lost by 4. 85-81 the final score. That was a chance for the ladies basketball team to get to 2 games over 500 in the league. Gators came in 2-6 to that one. That's a hard one. It's a hard one. Florida just a step in front of Arkansas in the net rankings, and that could have been that would have been I think it would have been a huge win for the Razorbacks if they could have pulled it off. Road win in conference, teams just in front of you in the net, and it was there for the taking. But too many turnovers, especially in the second half, and some of them felt like mindless turnovers, or just not paying attention to certain things, and a lot of those turnovers were converted into easy, quick baskets by Florida. And Hogs it wasn't a matter of like cold shooting in the fourth quarter. They did go cold, but they just didn't get enough shots up. Too many turnovers.
Yeah, you never want to beat yourself. You never want to make it easy for the other team, and that's what you do when you have a turnover. I kind of relate it to tennis as an unforced error. You just can't keep or in baseball when you have to get 4 outs in an inning instead of 3. You just can't keep giving them easy chances. And a lot of times, Phil, if you have a turnover on offense, it leads to an easier shot on defense. I mean, for the other offense.
That's exactly what happened. Some of the turnovers were just like it wasn't a play made by the opponent. It was just a pass that was thrown right to them or to nobody in particular, and then the next thing you know, there's a Gator in the front court, nobody's there, and it's a breakaway layup. And that happened. I mean, you could probably count it on 2 hands. It took Mike a little bit longer to get to sit with me post-game, and that usually says something about his mindset for the way that game was played, because he doesn't go talk to the team in the locker room too often right when the game is over. And he doesn't do too much of the talking. He lets them do the talking amongst themselves. But he was in that locker room for a little bit, and he was very disappointed to the point where he said that they were scheduled to have a day off today. It is that point in the season where, you'd like to get some of your players some time to get their feet up, especially when you're dealing with foot injuries or leg injuries. But I think they're practicing today. So they get a tough one on Monday, too, against the Tennessee Volunteers Monday night at Knoxville, which is always a tough place to go play.
Summit Arena. That'd be
Summit Floor. I think they've got the floor name for her.
That yeah, Tennessee, are they still they're not as good as they once was. Shout out to Toby Keith, the late great, but they're still pretty good, right?
They're still pretty good, but not where, you expect that Tennessee basketball is or where they were, I think, even last year. They had kind of a really rough non-conference. They've played better in conference. They're 7-3. So that's not bad at all, actually.
Do you think being on the road had anything to do with it? Do you think the sloppiness that if they would have been at home, the ladies probably would have maybe held on to the ball? Did that have anything to do with it?
I would say maybe, but a couple of the players were in their home state. Spencer and Scott are from Florida. And
did they press a little bit, you think? Were they?
I think they pressed. I think that a lot of times one of the things that you'll see this team do is force a drive into the lane, try to create contact. The shot's not going to look pretty, but you expect to get to the foul line. And they got to the line 20 times, and, Matt, they made them all last night. They went 20 for 20 at the foul line. I feel it's tough to lose a game when you go 20 for 20 at the foul line.
That's a stat right there. I wonder in the history of college women's sports, even men's if you want to, but we're talking the lady basketball. How many times in the history of college basketball, lady basketball, has a team went 20 for 20, at least 20, 20, and lost the game?
Right.
That didn't happen.
And made 11 threes.
That's crazy.
And had, the shooting percentage was pretty good, but they allowed too many points in the paint. And really, like, some of the turnovers, I think, also were shots that didn't hit the rim, where there wasn't a foul called, and you're trying to force one up to get to the foul line. There was a lot of that. And even Mike had put it in the terms of, like almost like, I don't know if he didn't use the term offensive flop, but that's the way that I viewed it. Just like a bit of a flop to try to exacerbate your actions so that the officials see something and they didn't see something sometimes.
Well, and if you go to the hoop and you're expecting contact and you're looking for it and you're throwing it up and you do get banged to the ground, it's 5-on-4 right there. You got to get up as quick as you can and get back on defense because you're already behind. If it's not a decent shot in the balls, the transition, it's going the other way right away.
And so I also think the idea of it, would that have happened at home? You'd say no, but I have seen some lapses at home from that team. And if you feel the same way about the men's team right now, like you can't just take into account because you're home and playing a team in Georgia that really isn't all that good, that you're going to see some kind of fine performance. They played, I won't say inspired, but they played hard against Kentucky. South Carolina, they controlled that entire game at Bud Walton Arena, which is wild to think about those actual words coming out of your mouth. A&M came in and beat you at Bud Walton Arena. The season didn't turn around tomorrow for the men's team. Well, it ain't going to turn around.
We got A&M. We ended up, the men's team.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
We barely.
I'm looking at the wrong number there. They maybe should have won that game.
Out of all the bummers this year in college basketball for the Razorbacks, because there's been a handful of them. Let's just say it how it is. It has not been what anybody thought it was going to be or what they want it to be. It's been a bummer. The season's been a bummer. But out of all the bummers, it's been the eggs they've been at home. It's been the fact that we can't play. LSU, we went down to LSU. They smashed us. But just starting with that Auburn game.
Yeah, that's the one I meant.
We never had a chance. That's been the biggest bummer. And so hopefully they can right that ship and make it right and protect that home floor, because even all around the SEC, it's hard to win on the road except for in Bud Walton. It's been got to stay in guard, got to have some pride in your home court and in your home place, and let's go out there and get it, man. It's a big game.
There's only 5 home games left, counting tomorrow.
Find a way to win these 5 games. You make the NIT, so you get some postseason play,
and maybe you can get that at. A home game at Bud Walton Arena.
Absolutely. You would think so.
And I don't think anybody would be all that excited about that. Some people would buy tickets for it, but I think you know.
We could win the NIT. That's something this team would be capable of getting in the NIT. And I've always said, you get a chance to hang a banner,
Sure.
you get a chance, man. You go out there and play. That this team, you get a couple home games. They don't go to Madison Square Garden anymore. You said for the Final Four.
No,
of
I
the
don't
NIT?
think so.
Yeah,
I think they were transferring it to Vegas.
Everything's going. As Tom Waits said, we're going out west.
I might be wrong about that. Hunter S. Thompson also wrote, that's my favorite piece of anything about Las Vegas.
Fear and Loathing?
Fear and Loathing, the book. I mean, the movie's really good.
Yeah.
I need to open the book up again and read it to my son while I'm putting him to sleep. No, that's a joke. You can't do that.
That's your Rum Diary. You know, the Amber Heard, when Johnny Depp met Amber Heard, and that's when they.
It's actually the only time you've actually said her name or you were referring to her name.
That's Hunter S. Thompson, though. That's part of his thing. Yeah.
The start of that book, which I think is also the start of the movie, where he's describing everything that's in the trunk. It's like, no, the guy, was he ever really sane or not?
Don't worry, he'll see these bats soon enough.
Craziness. All right, let's break, and we'll wrap up hour number 2 in just a moment. Want to remind you about the newest community being built in Springdale right now from Buffington Homes, also one of the more convenient places to live when you're searching for a new place to live in Northwest Arkansas. Right on the north side of Springdale is Cottages at the Park, close to all the employers, Tyson, J.B. Hunt, Walmart home office, close to Arkansas Children's Northwest, and it defines relaxed living with welcoming front porches, shady sidewalks, and lush green spaces. You're going to really enjoy living at Cottages at the Park. Plus, they've got a 120-acre city park that is just down the street, Shaw Family Park. Home prices start in the 400,000s. Huge selection of single-story and two-story homes, perfect for every stage of life. That's Cottages at the Park. You can visit BuffingtonHomesAR.com/hogradio for more information. Stay with Halftime. We'll wrap up the second hour in just a moment.
This year, upgrade your home to safe, convenient, and energy-efficient natural gas from Arkansas Oklahoma Gas. Skip the prepayments and delivery issues, and enjoy the peace of mind knowing that your natural gas is always there when you need it. And we can help make converting your home easy and affordable too. For heating, hot water, cooking, and more, it's time to upgrade to safe, reliable, and energy-efficient natural gas. Visit AOGC.com to learn more. AOG, Energy for Life.
Husbands, sons, daughters, honor your wife or mother for Mother's Day at the inaugural Mystery at the Fort Legacy Ball, benefiting Heart to Heart Pregnancy and Family Care Center on May 11th at the U.S. Marshals Museum. Buy your tickets today.
Video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Call or text the McClarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McClarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McClarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McClarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McClarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouth. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline is your #1 source for all your betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, and more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use our promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts.
Looking for an African adventure without the hassle of planning? Kruger Safari Club has got you covered. Our custom hunting and safari packages take care of everything from transportation to accommodations, so you can focus on enjoying the experience of a lifetime. With our team's extensive knowledge of the best hunting and safari spots in South Africa, Mozambique, and Zimbabwe, you'll have access to some of the most breathtaking views and exciting game hunting opportunities on the planet. And with our commitment to ethical hunting and giving back to the local community, you'll know that your trip with us is making a positive impact. Book your trip now and let us take care of the rest. Find out more at KrugerSafariClub.com.
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insight and analysis?
Hell yes.
How about listening to an Arkansas football legend?
Matt Jones, all he does is make big plays.
What's the voice of the Hogs have to say?
Hey, what a great crowd last night.
Don't forget about the Omahogs.
The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Matt Jones, Chuck Barrett, and Phil Elson, the best in the business on the Hit That Line Podcast Network. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share.
Are you in need of a good power washing? Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash is a full-service pressure washing corporation with over 15 years of experience in the River Valley and Northwest Arkansas. Cleaning services include exterior home, fence, driveways, walkways, gutters, pool deck cleansing, and more. We remove dirt, grime, and more to give you that sparkle you desire. Call me at 479-763-5561. We're open Monday through Saturday from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash, one call, cleans it all.
Madonna has gone from like a virgin to like a surgeon. You can try to nip and tuck from the curse of sin, but eventually death is going to win. God will do major surgery on this sin-filled world, and when He does, people will try and hide their faces from Him. Even plastic Christians won't be exempt. Look up Isaiah chapter 2 and see how the spiritual world renders this an immaterial world. I'm Pastor A from Woodland. Read about it.
So, yeah, maybe just movie time.
So when do you think calls actually cost a dime? When do you think the last
70s for sure.
60s is what I got.
Yeah.
That's what Wikipedia tells me, so it must be true.
60s, yeah.
Yeah, phone calls were 15 cents in the 1970s. Here's somebody that knows exactly what it's like to walk into a payphone booth, change his clothes, reveal the Superman costume. It's Eduardo the Sherpa here on Halftime. Eddie, when's the last payphone you slipped into?
I'm sorry, you broke up on me, sir.
There's no reason to get all into it again. 15 cents to make a phone call in the 70s when you learned how to be a Razorback fan. But what you got for us today, Eduardo the Sherpa? What's new?
Well, sir, I'm calling in. You know, it's always, when you talk about moments in time, we got a couple of players, Super Bowls at stake that come through our program. And I just want to root them on. You know, you talk about Brandon Allen. You talk about Mr. Dre Greenlaw. And what a linebacker he was for our program. And I mean, you could say possibly maybe the best linebacker in all of America. And so I hope they go out. It's good to see, you know, players that come through our program accomplish great things. And so, man, I just love those players because, you know, when they went out, they competed. They provided home delight. But, you know, I listened to you and Matt talk the other day. just briefly on a football program. I don't know who's the recruiter up there. You know what I mean? We got nothing chaps me more than, our program. The biggest success we've had in our programs in a lot of years is in-state players. And we're not even looking at them. So that's got to change. Let's get to this basketball program. I've said this before. Do I think Coach Musselman deserves a little criticism? You bet I do. Because you just said it a while ago, when you talk about a movie Back in the Future, our program is rich in tradition. And dead last is not one of them. Let me tell you this. You got 8 or 9 games left. You better go out and fight. I don't know if these players are invested in our program or not, but I tell you what, you got to win your home games. And we've set a record this year with blowout losses at home and on the road, and that's unacceptable. So I'm going to tell you this. You got 8, 9 games left. You better go out there and lay it on the line.
That's the way most people are thinking about it, Eddie. That's right. Either that or they're just not going to watch, and they've given up by now because it's just not fun, as you've put it, to watch them get drubbed at home. It's not fun to watch it happen on the road, but it feels even more embarrassing when it happens in Bud Walton Arena. I mean, that was the overarching feeling I remember watching the Auburn game as things got out of hand farther and farther with each second that was played. It's like, wait a minute. Like, losing a game at home is one thing, but to just get totally blown out is a completely other thing. Hour number 3 coming up in just a moment on halftime. Neil Atkinson from Bet Saracen joins us at 1:15. So an open segment coming up right now. If you want to get on that McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. Hognoxious actually liked Howard the Duck. He says Adventures in Babysitting may have been better. Adventures in Babysitting is the greatest babysitting movie ever made. I don't think Howard the Duck was quite in that category. And of course, Cody from Blue Ball has seen Howard the Duck like 8 million times. Got the thing memorized. He's got a subscription to Play Duck, too. Stay with halftime. Right back.
The biggest selection ever of pre-owned vehicles is right now at Harry Robinson Salisal Ford. Over 150 units are on the lot. 50 of these with a price tag below $25,000 and matching down payments up to $2,500. Troy, this is the best time ever to buy at Harry Robinson.
Hey, it really is, Tommy. I've been here since opening day, December 2018. I've never seen inventory at this dealership like this. So come down here and see us. We've got an awesome selection. And like you said, we have over 50 units out there that are priced less than $25,000, and we're going to be matching your down payment up to $2,500.
That means you can get the payment you want here this week at Harry Robinson.
Yes, it gets you to the payment you want. It gets you in a better equity position. It gets you out of that negative equity. So come down here and see us. Let me save you some money. Let me match your down payment of up to $2,500.
And bring your trade, because nobody will pay you more for your trade than Harry Robinson Salisal Ford. 1 mile south of exit 308 off of I-40 in Salisal. And find all the deals online at harryrobinson.com.
This is Bruce Stanton, Vice President and General Manager of Pradco Fishing in Fort Smith. If you're going to do some cold water bass fishing, you need to be using a Umbrella Flash Mob Jr. It's the best lure for duplicating a small school of shad and can be worked from the top of the water column to the bottom. Whether you're trying to win a bass tournament or whoop up on a bunch of white bass and stripers, the Umbrella Flash Mob Jr. will catch them. Available at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle stores all over the place. The Umbrella Flash Mob Jr.
Eat into the new year with Art's Barbecue on Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. Art's has many lighter menu options available, from grilled chicken to fish to low-carb entrees, plus delicious sides. And since Art's smokes all of their meats in-house, the ham, turkey, and other meats that top their handmade salads make these choices easy and delicious. And don't forget, all burgers are $1 off every Saturday. Art's Barbecue, Burgers, and more. Rogers Avenue next to Buddy's in Fort Smith.
What's on your to-do list today? Does it include looking for a new piece of heavy equipment? If so, come by and see us at Sharp Equipment today and explore our latest offers and deals as a Wacker-Neuson dealer. Whatever your day brings, whatever job it is you need to complete, Wacker-Neuson Equipment is up to the task, and Sharp Equipment is here to help. Stop in Central Hydraulics and see us at Sharp Equipment, located at 6104 Highway 271 South in Fort Smith, or give us a call at 479-242-1406.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, we will be dry across the north, seeing a little bit of wet and stormy weather across the south today. High temperatures this afternoon into the upper 60s. We will be dry across the north tonight. Overnight lows near 45. Showers with a slight chance of thunderstorms across the south, low 50s. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by In Good Spirits, Fort Smith's premier source for fine wines, specialty beers, and liquor.
Here we go. From the Bushlight Studios, this is ESPN 95.3.
Well, this town is a pigskin paradise.
KERX, Paris, Fort Smith. Coming to you live from the Crabtree RV Center Studios. Broadcasting on ESPN Arkansas and streaming on hitthatline.com.
We got a good one tonight. You got a team in here that doesn't respect you. Joaquin said dominate, and we not doing it.
We're going to go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field.
Matt Jones may take it to the house and the dunk.
You both said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's halftime with Phil Olsen and Matt Jones.
From the bottom of my toes to the top of my head.
I'm putting my heart up. Let's go, man.
Probably as frustrated as I've been the first half.
But they were one Razorback.
Second half, very happy.
Is vintage Matt Jones.
Here we go. Right now, let's take the field.
Call or text on the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Olsen and Matt Jones.
We have made it into the golden hour of our week. Welcome back into halftime on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com. Phil Elson, Matt Jones, Christian Johnston, the C Unit producing. We'll have Neil Atkinson from Bet Saracen in just a bit to get into some of these wild prop bets that you can get on Bet Saracen and anything else going on in the gambling world. Let's just be honest here. It's all about the Super Bowl this weekend. Some other things going on as well. Matt, to your question about whether or not the Super Bowl will ever be hosted outside the United States, we have another international game that is being announced by the NFL. Real Madrid's stadium is going to be hosting an NFL regular season game for the first ever time in Spain in 2025. Santiago Bernabeu Stadium.
Yeah. Bernabeu, yeah, that's where Real Madrid plays. They're going to get Mbappe right now, so he's the young hotness. He's the what Christian McCaffrey, Patrick Mahomes, whatever. He's one of the best players in the game. He's at PSG. He's going to be a Galactico with that's where they get it right there. Real Madrid.
The NFL also, according to Peter O'Reilly, who is the league's head of international affairs, says that the league is looking at other countries to host a game in the future, including France. I've never pictured France as like a football country, but I don't know if I thought about Great Britain like that or Spain. Germany has hosted games too, so now that'll be the fourth country in Europe that actually hosts regular season football.
Yeah, I wonder if they're going to be at Paris Saint-Germain Stadium or not. But yeah, NFL's a global game. It's I don't know if it ever catches on. They do some rugby. You got the Nation Six where I know France has Italy. They do some rugby. I don't know if football will ever not just be an American sport. Where you got Australian rules football, but this version of football, I think it's an American sport only.
You get more European players into the NFL, and there'll be more European fans. Just think of how the NBA exploded in popularity when Yao Ming played for the Houston Rockets. I mean, that's I think how that
another
sport got huge there.
Another Spanish place, Barcelona, the '92 Olympics. That's kind of what a lot of this happened is for
The NFL stands alone as the one sport that hasn't turned international in terms of the talent that plays it. Baseball's getting even more internationalized. You have a steady stream of players coming from Korea and Japan and the Far East. Of course, for a long time now, there have been the Latino influence from South America and the Caribbean, the NHL. I mean, it used to be just a bunch of dudes from the United States and Canada. Now you get all the nations in Europe, Russia. That's about as international of a sport as it gets. And look at the NBA. I mean, they don't even really draft out of college at all the way that they used to. You're getting some. I mean, the best player in the world is
Giannis. You're saying Giannis right now?
Well, I was going to say Jokic.
Yeah, Jokic. If you wanted to say Giannis, Jokic, Luka Doncic,
they're none of them are from the United States.
Right.
And yet the NFL stands alone in terms of these are a bunch of American guys playing here, and there's the occasional Canadian, And I remember reading about a couple of Japanese kids that got a chance, but they never really made it. I think you get all these Australian punters. I don't know if that necessarily makes.
What was there, 11 of the SEC schools had Australian punters? That's sick.
But it is wild that still, I mean, I guess the World Cup. What was the match that you told me about that is the most watched event?
It's
the
the
most
Clasico.
Yeah, you just watched it about a couple weeks ago.
Real Madrid and FC Barcelona.
Yeah, but so where does the Super Bowl rank as far as the against that or against any other sporting event televised? Because I mean, there are dozens of foreign language radio broadcasts for this Super Bowl.
You got Tay-Tay.
It's kind of fun to listen to.
She's gonna bring a whole new geographic in to what this Super Bowl right here will be the #1 most watched Super Bowl in the history. I'll say that now. It's gonna be it's gonna break every single ratings in the history of Super Bowl because of Taylor Swift and this whole thing going on. No, when the ratings come out, I mean, if you want to bet Christian's salary for a week, we can bet it. See money.
Are you willing to throw that on the line right now, C Unit?
Yeah.
See money?
He agrees with me. You think this would be the most watched Super Bowl ever, Christian?
The Taylor Swift thing, I feel like even people who say that they don't like Taylor Swift or anything, I feel like they're still undercover going to watch,
I think you're right.
I don't think there's many people that's just not going to watch the Super Bowl.
I've had more people that aren't really sports fans asking me about the Super Bowl, saying they're going to watch it. I think that's it's.
I just hope it's not a blowout.
There's no way this game's a blowout.
I don't think so either.
My thing to both of you guys is which one of these teams is going to have more explosive plays, because the Chiefs' offense is pedestrian at times. I know they went down those first 2 drives and got points, but you talk about who is their Tyreek Hill. Who if Pacheco doesn't bust one, Kelsey's not a speed guy. So the Chiefs struggle to get some to get some explosive plays, where I think San Francisco is going to win that battle. I think they'll have more explosive plays.
If you were to think of the team that gets out to the big lead, if that does happen, it would be the Niners. It would definitely be the Niners. I'd still be nervous with Mahomes even down a couple of touchdowns or 17 points. I'm looking at the ratings here from Super Bowl history. The most watched Super Bowl was New England over Atlanta. And a huge reason why is the comeback.
Yeah.
I mean, people might have given up on the game or just didn't necessarily care about it all that much until you see, hold on a moment, New England's on the way back, and then more TV switch over to it, and they had 126.3 million watch. Last year, with KC and Philadelphia, 115.1 million. A lot of times we wonder about, you think about the markets these teams come from, and that might help if it's a place like New York,
Dallas.
Yes.
America's team. Yeah.
You would think like Los Angeles has that kind of cachet, but it's not a hardcore professional football town, at least not right now. But this is totally different. Kansas City's not a major market. I mean, it's a big city,
but they've been on a heater.
Yeah, I mean, they do. They've got stars that draws people in. You got stars on the sideline, you got stars on the field, and then you got a star up in a suite somewhere, who is making this trip from Japan the day before or the day of the game, in whichever way you look at it, and it's like she's the added participant here. Yeah, and so then some wonder about how many Taylor Swift commercials there will be. Like, don't you have to pay her in order to have something about her on the commercial?
She doesn't need to spend money on a commercial.
No,
she's getting free.
She is a commercial.
That's what I mean.
That's exactly right. She is a commercial here. Texters coming in. BE says there's a lot of hate watchers. That's like what James Teague said. And that's the way that I've watched a lot of Super Bowls. Anytime New England was in a Super Bowl, I wasn't rooting for their opponent.
Bob Holt.
I was rooting against them. Yeah, Bob Holt's rooting against the Niners. He hates the Niners. James Teague has Kansas City fatigue, so he's rooting against them. I wonder, how many of us Actually root against the team instead of for a team. And I've done that in the World Series. Well, I did that in the World Series anytime the Braves played until I just gave up on my hatred for them. Now it's just back and forth, and I just want to see Game 7 and extra innings. I may not could feel that way about this Super Bowl. I don't really have a rooting interest in it. I just want to see a good game. I hope everybody has fun and nobody gets hurt and enjoys their orange slices afterwards.
Want to see who I liked what you said earlier. I think maybe we had Aaron on. I can't remember, but talking about MVPs, about it, how it could be a defensive player. The San Francisco 49ers can play a little defense now, and so can the Chiefs. The explosive plays worry me if I'm the Chiefs. Not so much with the 49ers, but it's going to come down to third down for the Chiefs. If they go something like 8 of 11 on third down, they're going to win the game. You got to limit San Francisco's explosive plays. Limit them to 1.5. If you can limit them to just 2 for the game, I think that gives you a shot. San Francisco, if they get somewhere between 5 and 7 explosive plays, explosive play meaning a 20-yard or a 20-yard run or a 25-yard pass, an explosive play, then I think they'll have a chance to win this game.
There have been 9 Super Bowls where a defensive player won the MVP. That's it. The last one was Super Bowl 50. Denver picks up the win. Von Miller was the MVP of that game.
Von Miller, I wonder how many sacks he had in that game. Yeah.
He had 2.5 sacks, 6 tackles. Before that, Malcolm Smith for Seattle.
Oh, no question on that one. That's one of the biggest plays in Super Bowl history.
But then, you have to go back to Dexter Jackson with Tampa Bay in Super Bowl 37 before that. That's only 3 Super Bowl MVPs coming from the defense in the last, 24 years.
Was that George Teague that intercepted it for the Cowboys? Who was the safety that had Darren Woodson? Mm-hmm. He didn't get MVP. I thought he had 2 pick sixes in that game. He didn't get okay.
For Dallas, Larry Brown, when he had the 2 interceptions against Pittsburgh.
That's who I'm thinking.
Emmett Smith and Troy Aikman.
I was okay, so it's there. Larry Brown's who I was thinking.
Yeah. And Dallas also has the only co-MVPs, Super Bowl 12, Harvey Martin and Randy White, as they forced 8 turnovers in that game. Let's head to the McLarty Daniel hotline before the break. We have Brian here with us. What's up, Brian? How are you? What you think about this Super Bowl on Sunday?
Good. How are y'all?
Good.
Say that again.
What do you think about the game on Sunday?
I think the Chiefs will take that, but I hope they do.
All right. Well, what's going on?
So I was listening to Matt talk about the possibility of Arkansas getting to the NIT if they won 5 games. First of all, I don't see how they beat Georgia Saturday. I guess they could. They get lucky. But my question on that was if they do win 5 games, they got to the NIT, they play some unranked nobody, and they lose it. Does that not hurt themselves worse than if they would have got there as far as recruiting and in the national eye if they lost to a nobody in the NIT at all places?
Well,
I'll just hang up and see what you get.
Sure. Anytime I think of a game like that, I think of Robert Morris beating Kentucky in the NIT, and I think that game was played in Pittsburgh, where Robert Morris is located.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Rep already, they might have been hosting the NCAA tournament.
Mm-hmm.
So it didn't hurt their recruiting all that much. Now, they haven't done much in the NCAA tournament since then, but they still get good incoming classes. So I don't know if that would hurt,
Well, it's like if you go 6-6 and you lose your bowl game. It's just kind of I don't think it matters as much. It's not as weighted. I think what hurts is losing to a North Carolina directional school before conference starts.
Well, what would hurt is losing your coach too, and I do not see that.
I hope
happen.
Musselman's our coach. I really do. I'm a Musselman fan. I hope he doesn't go anywhere. I hope he's here for however long coaches stay around. If it's 5 years, 7 years, whatever it is.
We break. We talk with Neil Atkinson from Bet Saracen in just a moment on Halftime.
Gets it in, they get it to Black, the clock ticks, and that's it. And the Razorbacks survive and advance to the Sweet 16. Arkansas wins it, and they're the defending national champions.
Listen to every Razorback basketball game right here on ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com.
I've never been prouder of a team like tonight.
Dozy Place has now been serving award-winning steaks for over 20 years. Celebrate your special birthday, holiday, person, or just because at Dozy Place. Start with delicious appetizers and your choice of drinks from the largest selection of wines, beer, and liquor in the River Valley. Dozy Place is open Tuesday through Thursday 5 till 9 and Friday and Saturday 5 till 10. Reservations are recommended, so call 784-9111. 784-9111 for Dozy Place, 422 North 3rd Street, Fort Smith.
Hello, this is Sebastian County Assessor Zach Johnson here to remind you to assess your personal property by May 31st to avoid late penalty. You can do this in person at one of our 3 locations, over the phone, or online by going to www.countyservice.net. I would also like to remind any current homeowners or individuals buying their homes on contract to contact our office and check on your eligibility for the homestead tax credit. Contact us today to see if you qualify. The homestead tax credit can save you up to $425 off of your tax bill.
This ad sponsored by Sebastian County Assessor and paid for by Amendment 79.
Patriot Transport wants to thank their drivers for their hard work and dedication. The local and over-the-road drivers are essential to the Patriot Transport mission. Day in and day out, Patriot Transport drivers are on the road striving for safety and success. To the behind-the-scenes dispatch and office employees, Patriot Transport thanks them as well for the hard work they put in day and night. If you want to be a part of the Patriot Transport family, visit patriottransport.com. Patriot Transport is located in Danville, Arkansas.
Hurry up, dude. The game's about to start.
Nothing beats spending the day watching the game with your buddies.
Dude, I'm literally right here. Let's do this.
Which is why a shelter insurance renter's policy is key to your winning game plan. It protects things your landlord's policy doesn't.
Dude, where's your TV? What? No way, dude.
Like that flat screen TV that just got stolen.
Call Jason Hill in Greenwood or Wade Gilkey in Fort Smith.
Precision Overhead Door features the finest quality materials, installation, and service for all of your overhead door needs. Fully licensed and insured, with locations in Rogers and Fort Smith, serving all of Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. Give them a call today at 844-PDS-STORE or online at PrecisionDoorNWA.com. Back-to-back winners of the Best of Award, Gold Best Garage Company in Northwest Arkansas, and also winners of the River Valley Precision Overhead Door.
Need new roof? Shamrock Roofing and Construction can have you covered right now for as low as $139.99 with approved credit. For quality and peace of mind, one call does it all. Shamrock Roofing and Construction. Call 479-319-5100. Supply issues are no issue at Shamrock Roofing and Construction. As one of America's largest roofing companies, we stocked up early and we stocked up big. We can do your job right now. And because we paid less for our material, we can share those savings with you. Call today or visit us at shamrockroofer.com.
If you've lived in the River Valley for a while, you know about the great reputation of Jam Mart. And their newest location at 6201 Grand Avenue in Fort Smith is open. Stop by for coffee, gas, beer, snacks, ices, and a clean restroom every time. Don't forget about the hot deli and fresh-made burgers. Now 7 locations in Fort Smith, Greenwood, Boonville, Ozark, and Danville. Sign up for their loyalty program for discounts throughout the stores. Jam Mart, the leading convenience store and gas station in the region.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
While the music played, you walk by candlelight. Those San Francisco nights were the best in town. Just by chance, you crossed the diamond with the pearl. You turned it on the world. That's when you turn the world around. Did you feel like Jesus? Did you realize that you were a champion in their eyes? On the hill, the stuff was laced with kerosene, but yours was kitchen clean. Everyone stopped to stare at your Technicolor motorhome.
Welcome back into Halftime Live from the Crabtree RV Studios. Crabtree RV Center in Alma, where we make your dreams come true.
Our own kid Charlemagne himself joining us on the McClarty Daniel Hotline. It's Neil Atkinson from Bet Saracen, Arkansas's favorite sports betting app. Works on your Apple iPhone, Google Android. You probably have it downloaded, but if you don't, go do it. or log on to any web browser, betsaracen.com. Neil, Super Bowl's a couple days away. How you feeling?
Yeah. I'm feeling actually pretty good operationally now. When I'm looking at the risk profile and where everybody's betting, I may not be feeling as good. But as far as us being ready and having all the systems ready to handle, which is supposed to be which looks like it's going to be record traffic this weekend, I'm very, very confident and looking forward to a great Super Bowl and a great event. Hey, it's Super Bowl weekend. What more can you say?
Do you think there'll be more money placed on this Super Bowl than any other because it's in Las Vegas? Or is it also just because sports gambling has become much more popularized and legal across the country? That's got to be the main reason.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's still going to be a lot of money bet on the Super Bowl, but now that it's legal and people have access to legal sports betting, I think we're up to 28 states now. Yeah, this would definitely, by all means, be the biggest Super Bowl in history and in the amount it's bet. And we're already on pace, probably right now, to double what we wrote on the Super Bowl last year. We've already met the bet count of last year, and we've got roughly 52 hours to go before the game kicks off. And we've already the number of bets were already exceeded last year. Now, it's a little bit different because we've got more props and they're smaller bets, but I mean, if that's any indication, it's going to be an incredible Sunday.
Bet Saracen's got the Niners favored 1.5 and minus 125 on the money line. Kansas City's plus 105. The over under 47.5. How have Bet Saracen bettors? Where have they put their money? How have they looked at this?
Well, I mean, the consensus line that I've seen is 2 almost everywhere, and it's at 1.5 on Bet Saracen, and it's all because of the Kansas City bias. It's Kansas City was already our number one most bet NFL team throughout the season. Followed closely by the Dallas Cowboys. But we right now I'm looking at it on against the spread. 72% of the money on Bet Saracen is on Kansas City, and 77% of the money line money is on Kansas City. So, it's lopsided, and it was that way last year also, with Kansas City being the Super Bowl versus Philadelphia.
I tell you, look at that over-under line. And, I mean, that would be the direction I might go because I see two teams where we talk so much about their offense. And, truthfully, I think that San Francisco's offense lives a little bit more to the billing as far as what Matt's touched on with big play capability. Kansas City's, they're more of a defensive-oriented team. Have you seen bettors going on the under a little bit more?
No, that one, there's just a natural thing that we've seen that people just naturally go with the over instead of the under is what it seems like. But 67% of the money right now has come in on the over, so that trend has very much continued with this particular game. So that may be an opportunity. And right now with more money on the over than the under, I don't mind if you bet the under right now.
Is this a game, because it's in Las Vegas, is this the single biggest event in sports betting history because it's in Vegas? I mean, the legalization of betting is one thing, but just to have the sport's biggest event and the biggest sporting event in the country to be taking place in Las Vegas, I mean, it feels almost like maybe crowning moment isn't the way to put it, but this is like the cherry on the top of the acceptance of sports betting in the country. And I can just imagine this is kind of what the sports betting industry has been moving towards for years.
Yeah. Well, it will be the most bet event and probably in U.S. Sports betting history. But in the world, nothing beats the finals of the World Cup. It just nothing beats it. And you got to remember, you've got the books over in Asia and Europe and Africa and South America. The World Cup always has continued to be the most bet sporting event. And I don't know if the Super Bowl will do it. I'm sure there will be a comparison after that. But with, who would have thought 10 years ago that we would be having a Super Bowl in an NFL stadium in Las Vegas itself? If I told you that 10 years ago, you would have I'd be in the funny farm right now. But here we are in 2024, and that's where it is. And that tells you on how much the landscape has changed. And I think it's been driven by technology because, the offshore illegal books were using the technology. So we're doing it, and we're doing it in the legal regulated market. And just so you have access, sports betting is not new in the United States. just legal sports betting is.
Is this the first Super Bowl for Bet Saracen with flash bets? I don't think it had been released for last year's Super Bowl. So I mean, there's a whole other way.
Yeah, last year we got signed off on flash bets the day after the Super Bowl was being technically ready for it. So yes, this will be the first Super Bowl with flash bets, and I'm anxious to see on how much more in play we do have on this particular game. Last year we were running about 22 to 25% of all of our right was in play overall across the book. Nowadays we're approaching 45% of all the bets are made during the game. Flash bets definitely has had an impact on that. And the only disappointing thing about the flash bets is I wanted a new an upgrade to be out before the Super Bowl that made the bet slip a little bit easier to make the flash bets. Unfortunately, that's going to be delayed a couple of weeks. But we do have the flash bets out, and we see that, it's going to be interesting to see how it's used because it's been used a lot during the playoffs this year. So especially that first weekend when a bunch of the favorites were behind.
You guys have to get ahead of the curve too here, because now that the football season, the NFL football season is coming to a close, you have the NFL Combine at the end of the month. The draft is a few months away, and I saw you guys have your NFL draft specials up there too. If you wanted to take a swipe at the first overall pick, first quarterback taken, second quarterback taken. You got to stay ahead of the curve, and even though the draft isn't until I think when is it, June? You still you got these out 6 months or 4 or 5 months ahead of time.
Oh yeah, and then you got the NBA Finals there in June. You've got the College World Series during that time, and then I don't know. I mean, July we may get a little bit of a let our hair down just for a little bit, but then we got the Olympics this year too. So I mean, it's just never ending, and it's exciting. And I like to say there's 2 seasons in the South: football season and waiting on football season. So it's almost like football season never ends anymore.
When you watch this game, do you pull for any team? I'm not asking you to tell which team you would, or are you looking at it strictly from the bookmaker's perspective?
I am 100% bipolar on this particular game. It's no secret if more money is on the Kansas City Chiefs from a business and a bookmaker's perspective, yeah, of course, that's there. But as a sports fan, which I am, and my favorite team is Tennessee Titans, born and raised in Nashville, I generally have always gone with the AFC team in the Super Bowl. Unless it's one of the couple of teams that I'm not very fond of, like Baltimore or something like that personally. But yeah, once the game starts going on, there's nothing I can change about the money. There's nothing I can do. I can't control who's going to have the ball, who's going to score a touchdown. So I kind of like dial it down a little bit, and then I try to enjoy the game and enjoy the commercials and the halftime show just like everybody else, and plus eat a whole lot, and then we'll look at what happens after that. Last year's Super Bowl was a high-scoring affair with Kansas City winning, and boy, we paid out a lot of money. And if we get a similar result this year, we'll probably pay out even more than we did last year. So just seeing how the numbers are coming in. So, yeah, I'll keep it fun, but then again, the business part of it could cause some Maalox moments. But, hey, that's all in the name of the game. That's why they call it gambling.
Of course, you got all the college basketball this weekend, the NBA, college baseball in a week. So I know people will be pretty excited about that on Bet Saracen. Super Bowl's number 1. I would assume NCAA tournament, maybe the first weekend, is number 2 in terms of most popular events for sports betting. What's number 3? Or am I wrong on what number 2 is?
Well, actually, if you take the 4-day weekend, and I guess you extend it out to the play-in games with the NCAA tournament, those 4-day weekends are just absolutely tremendous. So if you do all that together, that's what it was last year, and the Super Bowl will be a solid number 2. So I guess the one after that would be the national championship game for college football right after that, because that was an incredible day. Well, not the national championship game, New Year's Day when they had the 2 playoff games plus the other bowl games. That was the number 3 one so far with Bet Saracen.
Neil, appreciate you. Enjoy the game. We'll be talking about it next week. Thank you as always.
Absolutely. Bet with your head and not over it. Get that app downloaded. Look at the menu. Have fun, and good luck on all of your picks.
You got it. Neil Atkinson from Bet Saracen. And if you're new to Bet Saracen, the video on BetSaracen.com is very helpful. Teach you how to play. Sometimes you might open that app and it looks like there's a lot of buttons going on there. The video on BetSaracen.com is very helpful for you. All right, we're into the home stretch of the Golden Hour. Get with us. We need your number 7s. We are lagging behind as far as number 7 is today, with 7 days before the start of Arkansas baseball season. 877-377-6963. We'll be back after just a moment.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
You're listening to Halftime Live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Crabtree RV Center, where RVing is life.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Joe's Grill and Cantina is already chipping away at 2024. If you have never tried Joe's Chips and Salsa, you're missing a Tex-Mex treat. House-made salsa, made daily with fresh veggies, even carrots. Try their sizzling fajita skillets, crunchy tacos, and their enchiladas with a homemade sauce is the best around. Plus a full bar and TVs all around the restaurant. Joe's Grill and Cantina. Great Tex-Mex, even better service. Joe's Grill and Cantina, 3400 South 74th Street, across from Harps in Fort Smith.
Got a pest? Call West. If you have pest or termite problems in your home, call West today and learn how their 50 years combined experience can help solve your problems with competitive pricing and quality services, all designed with your pets and children in mind. Call today and schedule your free estimate. They even offer Saturday services and long life attic pest control. Call 782-7291. West Termite and Pest Control, protecting your home health and peace of mind.
Do you need an oil change but don't have time to drop off your car? S&J Express Lube will let you sit in your car while they do the work, and it only takes about 15 minutes with no appointment needed. Prices start at $35.99 for a 20-point inspection service. S&J Express Lube is open Monday through Friday 9 till 6 and Saturdays 8 till noon. You'll find them at 14818 Highway 71 South in Jenny Lind. Check them out on Facebook too. S&J Express Lube, your authorized Castrol dealer in Sebastian County. They are waiting on you now.
Sometimes I'm in a hurry. Stay in the slow lane, buddy. That's when I use the Sodies app to order my favorites and pick up in their drive-thru. They even offer a 10% discount on your first app order. Experience different at Sodies Wine and Spirits off I-540 on Phoenix Avenue.
Every day is worth celebrating at Uncorked. Cocktails, wine, craft beer, bourbons, and unbelievably great food. Uncorked on Phoenix Avenue next to Sodies.
Are you great at picking NFL games?
Yes, sir!
Then enter ESPN Arkansas's Pro Football Pick'em Challenge on hitthatline.com.
Touchdown! Kansas City!
ESPN Arkansas's Pro Football Pick'em Challenge is presented by Heartland Hyundai.
And on behalf of the 5-time world champion Dallas Cowboys!
Only on hitthatline.com. Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
possible, honey, to have a little talk with you. Oh, baby, I'll be your shelter when you're homeless. Be your light in the dark. This ain't no lie, honey, if that's what's going through your mind. Oh, baby, I just want to be your 24/7 man now, just as strong as I can. I just wanna be your 24/7 man, girl. Ain't no shame in my game, girl.
Find Halftime on 99.5 in Northwest Arkansas, 95.3 in Fort Smith in the River Valley, 96.3 in Hot Springs and Central Arkansas, 104.3 in Harrison and Mountain Home, and everywhere on hitthatline.com. Join the conversation. Call or text ESPN Arkansas on the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. Now back to the hosts. Here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
7 days before Arkansas baseball, number 7, J.D. Drew, Niall Davis, Carmelo Anthony, Craig Biggio. It's all good ones right there.
Brandon Holmes, Pistol Pete.
Pistol Pete Maravich. Did he wear 7 at LSU or with the Jazz?
Yeah, the Utah Jazz is what I always remember. He played before the three-point line. It was averaging 30, I think, before the three-point line.
That's a guy that would have survived in today's day and age. He probably could have been the dude that shoots from past half court.
He needed a knee doctor, and we didn't have him back then. You know, the technology was not there. His knee just couldn't do it.
Still, we got somebody called in a moment ago to see you and talked a little bit about Mickey Mantle. There is an emotional connection to Mickey Mantle for people even like me. Now, I never got a chance to see him play, never met him, but if I were to even say his name to my father at the age of 76, there would be a tear forming in his eye, and it might come down his face. Mickey Mantle. This is the thing that I take from Mantle that I just will never forget. It was when he had cancer. There was an announcement about it. He had a press conference, and at this point, I guess my father would have been in his 40s, and we're watching this press conference, and Mantle is telling the writers and just speaking into the microphone to anybody that was listening at that moment. He said, "Don't live how I lived," and he said it with a tinge of, not a tinge, real regret in his voice. Mickey Mantle was great. He's one of the greatest baseball players, maybe one of the greatest athletes ever in this country. But he would have been even better had he not been injured throughout his career and been drunk throughout his career, too. And I think it was the drink that he was referring to. So I always take that with me. I'm telling you, I was close to being named Mickey. My parents joke with me about one other name. They say that I might have been close to being named Nelson. They do have a sense of humor, but they would have not called me that because I don't need a name that rhymes. My name is Philip Harold. That's because my grandfather, whom I never met, he died well before I was born, he was Harold Phillip. So they say you were either going to be Harry or you were going to be Phil. So I'm really thankful that they went with the Phil direction. I think Mickey would have been better than Harry.
That's pretty cool. My grandfather's name was Paul. My middle name's Paul, so there's something there. Grandpa, shout out to the grandpas today.
Michael Vick, Cristiano Ronaldo. Did I see something about Ronaldo?
CR7.
Well,
yeah.
He's playing in the Saudi League, right?
You know, he's a show pony at this age.
But is that where he's playing?
Yeah.
So
that's where he resides.
He was getting heckled in his game last night or yesterday, and all of these fans are throwing stuff at him, and I guess some of it were like jerseys that they'd bought of their home team to throw at him. Ronaldo picks up the jersey, stuffs it in his shorts. I mean, in the front of his shorts. The headline that I read said Ronaldo rubbed like one of some of his opponent's uniforms on his crotch. That's the actual headline that I read. I was thinking, that one feels a little different to me. But if they're throwing something at you, I guess you can do whatever you want with it. But he's not quite the same as he used to be, is he?
Well, Father Time catches up with everybody, and he's one of the best to ever do it. I always, it's I don't know if it's kind of like a Kobe LeBron argument or a Kobe MJ because they're Messi and Ronaldo are different players. But I was always team Messi over.
Well, here was another thing that they were doing that I read about at this game. Match. Got to call it what it is. Every time Ronaldo touched the ball, the crowd chanted Messi.
The soccer atmosphere by far is the number one atmosphere. Now college football has the atmosphere that's close. It's close to the soccer atmosphere. The hooligans over there, the soccer world, it's a totally different. You think SEC football, Florida Gators, LSU, Auburn, whatever. You wouldn't even sniff what the soccer what they do over there.
We've got to have a clash of cultures with sports when it comes to this. Forget about the NFL holding the Super Bowl in Europe. Put the college football championship game out there. Let's get these fan bases all together. The hooligans from
Madrid, wherever you want to go.
Well, I mean, so pick a college football program that would be a little hooliganish. Tennessee,
Ole Miss.
Well, the Hurricanes, the Miami Hurricanes in the 80s.
Well, the players were a little hooliganish then. I think might be the direction you go.
LSU.
Yeah. I know, just that in Nebraska's too nice. They're not hooliganish. Iowa, those are not hooligans. Those are polite people unless you don't score enough points and you're related to the head coach. A&M, that's a whole, like, I even feel like European soccer fans would look at A&M and think, whoa, that's weird. What are we doing here with the overalls?
The midnight yell?
Yeah, they don't do that in Europe, do they?
Hey, man, they're
yelling at midnight for a whole other reason.
They sing. The beauty over there, too, that's so cool is if you're an away fan, they give you about 800 tickets in the top left corner of the stadium. You know, it's a true home field advantage. They sell out their stadiums with their own fans.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's life and death over there.
That Cox wore number 7. Arkansas baseball does not have a number 7. Didn't have one last year either. The last guy to wear it was Caden Wallace. So no number 7 on the team this year. I'd have thought somebody might have asked
Brady
for it.
Toops. What number was he?
I don't know.
Yeah, back then I was trying to think.
Kenny Lofton wore number 7. There's a guy that could be a Hall of Famer. Probably should have been a Hall of Famer.
Center fielder, bounced around late in his career, played in a couple World Series. Did he win a World Series? I don't know if he won. I just remember him bouncing around for the Indians. He bounced around playing in seemed like whatever team was making a playoff push in his last couple years that he was playing, they were trying to pick up Kenny Lofton.
And I'm looking through the teams he played for here. Atlanta, Cleveland, White Sox, Giants, Pirates, Cubs, Yankees. I don't think he ever won a World Series.
See, he was a journeyman there at the end.
That's a guy with hindsight would get some votes for the Hall of Fame. Yeah, he has the steals. He's got the on-base percentage. Batting average pretty good. That would be good. I like that one for number 7. And then Carmelo. I mean, Melo, there's a Galactico for you. There's a walking bucket. There's a guy who never played. Did he even play in an NBA Finals?
But it's just his New York Knicks 7 because he was 15 in college, 15 with the Nuggets. He was 7 for a spell. Melo's a walking. Yeah, he is. He's a walking bucket, but it's also a black hole over there.
David
you know,
Beckham.
He gets the ball. Oh, bend it like Beck's. There you go. David Beckham was 23, but he might have been 7 on the England national team. I don't know, but Beckham was, yeah.
I think, what number did Bonds wear before he switched to 24? I think it was 7. I think he wore 7 with the Pirates for a year.
I thought he was 21 and 24. He might have been 7.
Well, when he came up, he had a single-digit number for that first year.
Yeah.
And then switched over to 24 for
the
Willie Mays.
the cornerback for the Dallas Cowboys, who I think is the number one cornerback in all the land, but he got hurt, and you saw that Dallas Cowboys defense kind of.
Did you see the look on C Unit's face when you brought him up and you mentioned the injury?
Yeah, he's before he got hurt, I thought he was at the time. And I don't know if he's as good as Darrelle Revis, but dude. When he was playing and when he was on, it's such a key to your defense when you have a cornerback you can put out there.
They were getting cooked.
That's what the Chiefs have.
They got some cornerbacks.
They got 2 cornerbacks that I feel it's awfully tough to cover Brandon Ayuk and Deebo Samuel one-on-one.
And Kittle and McCaffrey.
Right,
And,
there's so many weapons on that side. Well, I mean, I'm starting to get to the point where I feel like I'm ready to pick San Francisco, Matt. It's now I think the Chiefs have the better defense. I think the Niners have more weapons, and I do think Brock Purdy can be a championship quarterback. I'm a believer in him.
If 73% of the public's on the Chiefs, then I'm on the 49ers.
You don't want to be a conformist, do you?
I mean, is Brock Purdy? Do you when you say Super Bowl champ, you say Brock Purdy, and
Nobody thought that was Tom
right?
Brady, and I don't mean to compare the two of them, but it is a little bit of the same idea. The guy was a backup when the season started. Well, he was a backup last year, but he was a backup at the start of his career. Nobody even realized he's on the team. It was the same thing said about Brady. So I feel like watching that comeback drive against the Lions, to me, made me a believer. If you can do it in the NFC Championship game, and there's so much pressure on you in that moment. Is there more pressure on you in the Super Bowl or in a championship game to get to the Super Bowl? You're playing in front of your home fans.
When you're the number one seed, there's always pressure, just like the Baltimore Ravens folded like a cheap tent. You thought San Francisco was going to do the same thing. They were able to, there was more pressure on San Francisco than any team this year when they were down 17 at halftime, and they came back and the thing was how quick that deficit erased. Touchdown, turnover, touchdown. Whoa, what just happened?
Randall Cunningham, number 7. We got another one.
Randall Cunningham was 7 for the Vikings. He was 12 for the Eagles.
And we're thinking more about him with the Eagles, though. How close was Cunningham to playing in the Super Bowl with the Vikings?
They were 15-1 that year. Kicker never was that
Gary Anderson.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
And he was he 4 or 1?
I don't remember.
Yeah,
I think he was 1.
Yeah.
I think he was 1.
Adam Vinatieri might have been number 4. He's eligible for the NFL Hall of Fame next year. He's a first ballot as a kicker.
If we're sending a specialist in Hester, yeah. I mean, he's a Hall of Famer, but you're asking about first ballot. That's the way I feel about Eli Manning. Don't put Eli in the first ballot. He's not a first ballot Hall of Famer. There's a separation here of greatness within greatness. You got to be great to be in Canton. You have to be the Galactico of greats to be a first ballot guy. Eli's not that.
I think Antonio Gates is better than both these tight ends playing in the Super Bowl right now.
And he's got to wait.
And he's got to wait. That's right.
That's like positional bias, I think. Got to be some positional bias. Here's the number 7 for you. Though for some of you, don't think about it right now. Old number 7, Jack Daniels. That's the recipe number that is in that bottle. Let's wrap up halftime in just a moment.
Are you an angler having trouble finding all the bait, tackle, and more for your fishing needs? Make a Wake Bait and Tackle, now located in Fort Smith next to Witts Marine. On North 11th Street is your place. Make a Wake Bait and Tackle. Also has the largest selection of plastics in the River Valley. Reactor Innovation, Bobby Garland, Zoom, Mega Bass, and more. Check out the Daiwa Rod and Reels. Make a Wake Bait and Tackle. 803 North 11th Street at Fort Smith. 479-926-9320. Also get your rod and reels repaired. Come see us next to Witts Marine at Make a Wake Bait and Tackle.
Did Cupid shoot you with a crossbow of drama instead of an arrow of true love? Don't let that little cherub ruin the rest of your life. Call Mock Legal Solutions today to stop the bleeding. Schedule a free consultation and ask about our special pricing for new divorce filings in February. 479-769-1505. Mock Legal Solutions, real advice, reasonable price.
The tires on your vehicle go round and round, but when they don't, go to Van Alma Tire. They have tires in their name. That's their specialty. Van Alma Tire is all about tires. They have all the name brands and private labels available for you and in stock. So when it comes to getting tires for your ride, it's worth the drive. And financing is available. Ask for details. Whatever your tire need, check out Van Alma Tires on Highway 64 between Van Buren and Alma. Ready to get you rolling on new tires at Van Alma Tire.
Remodeling your bathroom? Don't let your imagination be limited by out-of-the-box shower doors or tub enclosures. Arkansas Glass and Mirror is your local source for all things glass, including plexiglass, mirrors, and shower doors since 1964. Arkansas Glass and Mirror has more selections, better prices, and the experience to help you build the shower of your dreams. They also have the only showroom in the area to help you create those dreams. Professional installation and professional service. Only at Arkansas Glass and Mirror, 1316 South Zero, Fort Smith, or online at arkansasglassandmirror.com.
Do you need gutters but think they're too expensive, or that you need to get the soffit or fascia ready? No worries. Call the Gutter Guy. He does it all. No need to call multiple companies to get the right gutters for your home. Call the Gutter Guy. Quality, low maintenance, leaf-free gutters with a 5-year warranty. The Gutter Guy also does vinyl siding and windows. The Gutter Guy. Over 30 years experience. Call 226-1259. Call the Gutter Guy.
Do you want to be a part of the team that makes the best pizza and wings in town? Well, I've got great news. Papa's Pub and Pizzeria is now accepting applications for a full-time cook. Fill out your application in person Monday through Saturday between 11 a.m. and 5 p.m. Papa's Pub and Pizzeria, 508 Garrison Avenue in downtown Fort Smith. You'll get to make the best darn pizza in Fort Smith, perhaps the world.
Order the double cheese and sausage. Right here, dude.
Husbands, sons, daughters, honor your wife or mother for Mother's Day at the inaugural Mystery at the Fort Legacy Ball, benefiting Heart to Heart Pregnancy and Family Care Center on May 11th at the U.S. Marshals Museum. Buy your tickets today for this 1940s mystery dinner, coupled with an exciting night of investigative entertainment and lively dancing with the band Who Shot JR. For more information, call 479-452-2260.
Why do people love Shamrock Liquor Warehouse? Simple. They've got it all. 70 years in business, 15,000 square feet of choices. They buy in volume so you can save. What else? How about the largest selection of everything? Shamrock's got it. Special orders? Shamrock's got it. Convenient drive-through, open 6 days a week? Shamrock's got it. Need a keg for your party? Shamrock's got it. Load up at Shamrock Liquor Warehouse at the corner of Midland and Riverfront Drive in Fort Smith.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Hey, Surrey!
Welcome back into Halftime Live from the Crabtree RV Studios. Crabtree RV Center in Alma, where we make your dreams come true.
All right, back on halftime. This is mind-blowing news. It's just sources coming on the ESPN website as we wrap up the week with this bombshell. UCLA coach Chip Kelly is expected to become the next offensive coordinator. Wait for it. Because remember, we were talking about potentially him being an offensive coordinator in the NFL. Ohio State University.
Man, everybody's against them. It's Ohio State versus the world. Haven't you heard?
This is wild. UCLA is now in the same league as Ohio State, and a sitting head coach leaving the program voluntarily to go be an offensive coordinator against a team in the same league. I got to double check if they're on the schedule against each other. This is crazy.
Well, regionally, it's going to be really strange watching UCLA over the next couple years. I don't understand how they're going to get a whole lot of people to. It's almost going to be a second tier type of job.
So in that term, I understand what it is that could be in his mind, but it seems to me he was going to get out of Los Angeles no matter what. He was getting out of UCLA. It was going to be either the NFL or it was going to be in some college realm as an offensive coordinator. Just needed to get out of there. I think you're right. UCLA is not. It's Los Angeles. USC is the bigger, better job. You're going into a league that is tougher than the league that you left. But it just is weird to think about that. I mean, he was taking a huge pay cut. He was making over $6 million at UCLA. The guy's made plenty of money. You're not going to be making anything close to that even though I know Ohio State will pay their OC well.
They had to pay 1.5 just to get him. That was his buyout. So, he was 35 and 34, 6-season UCLA. I really think that's about as good as you can do. If you go 6 years at UCLA and can be a game above 500, I don't know that UCLA is a destination coaching type of job. So I think UCLA is going to struggle for a handful of years.
Well, I think Chip Kelly agrees with you.
Playoff 12. Chip Kelly. I mean, Ohio State. I know Ole Miss has made some moves. Ohio State right now would be my preseason number one. With the moves they've made, they got that running back from Ole Miss. You get the OC.
Get the safety from Georgia.
Ohio's, and I'm not an Ohio State fan. Don't get me wrong. But if I was to do the preseason, Ohio State's the number one team in the country right now.
All right. So if Ohio State has won the offseason, then they're not going to win the national championship.
Let's go Ole Miss then, right?
Well, it's like the teams. You know what it's like in the NFL. You know what it's been like in Major League Baseball. The team that wins the offseason doesn't usually win the real season. The Mets were supposed to win last year. The Mets broke up. They stunk. The Jets. There you go. It's so rare that it actually happens. So you're right, though. You're right. If you're looking at the moves in the portal and everything, and now who they got as an offensive coordinator.
Didn't they get that where's their quarterback from? Is he the
Will Howard? That's the guy from K-State.
Oh, my goodness, right? Yeah.
A lot of teams were in on him.
You got the best running back in the country.
And I think a lot of their
fans. You got
fans
Alabama's center.
That's exactly right, yeah. A lot of their fans also be like, well, we didn't really think Bill O'Brien was going to be a great offensive coordinator. Chip Kelly will do great things there.
It's going to be fun. They slew of receivers the last few years, even though Marvin Harrison's gone. I mean, they get the talent. That was fun. C-Unit.
Super Bowl pick, Matt Jones.
Super Bowl. San Francisco 28, Kansas City Chiefs 29.
C-Unit.
The Chiefs are going to get it done. They've got Mahomes. I mean, I can't. It's hard to doubt that guy.
20-17, San Francisco. Game-ending field goal, wide right. Put it in the books. Talk about that on Monday. How does that sound? For the C-Unit, for Matt Jones, I'm Phil. Stay tuned for Ruskin and Zach, and anything you missed is on the Eastside Liquor Halftime Podcast. And get up, get out, and get better.